Howdy folks, welcome to Mosaic Team 5, our original Starfinder game.
Much.
I am Joe Treff, your GM this evening and most, and joining me are my friends Matt, Dan, Kara, and Ari. We're missing Olive tonight, who is not feeling super well, but
feel better, baby.
Hopefully
Drink
all be back
fluids.
Next week.
Drink,
yes,
drink.
Definitely drink fluids.
Water. Shot.
No. That is not what to do. When
Shots of water.
NyQuil.
A couple of quick notes before we do get started. First of all, we have a YouTube, we have Instagram, we have Threads, we have all the different kind of social media things at Alberon RPG for all of them. We have a really great thing coming up in November on Thanksgiving. We will not be playing Starfinder, even though it is Thursday. We will instead be playing Feast of the Noble Vale, which Kara is going to be running for us. It is the second in our annual tradition of this D&D kind of Food Network-ish competition that is taking place in the world of Alberon, and it has very real impacts on our main campaign, as it turns out. And so you can see that when it airs on Thanksgiving. We're going to be playing it this Sunday. We have a couple other cool things coming up, including an 8-part adventure that Tina will be running for us through next year. We have Axe Wolf and Woe that will likely air sometime in December, that is being played on December 14th. That is an original one-shot that is set in the Alberon universe. It is an epilogue to our main first campaign, and it follows the adventure of Brenna, the gnomish barbarian with an awfully large axe. And it's going to feature some new friends, some old faces, and we're going to be taking part in some gladiatorial combat. So that is December 14th that we are playing it. I have to decide if we're doing that live or not. There's a tremendous amount of stuff coming for the new year. So many different things. And so when we have all of that kind of squared away, we're working on it right now in Discord, but we will announce all of that. And that is all the announcements that I have. And so it's time for this week's session of Mosaic Team 5. Yeah, Mosaic Team 5. Last we played. Your team of bounty hunters found themselves within the drift, the interdimensional space that connects all spaces.
Stop distracting me.
As you hurtle towards the Veskarium, the territory controlled by the dragonborn-like Veskarium, and a prison barge that housed several highly profitable fugitives and some individuals linked to many of your pasts. Your android mechanic Shade and Lashunta envoy Spice had a tense conversation where Shade expressed that he wanted for the fiery Spice to be the captain not because she wanted it, but because she had the skills to be good at it. Spice countered flippantly that she didn't care, and that she no longer wished to be captain, but simply enjoyed causing Shade as much of a headache as possible. She acted unbothered by the people in her life that had disappeared over the years, but the situation at hand sort of in a storm of denial. Shade, you sensed that this was something of a front, but dropped the matter, handing over instead a gift. A personal assistant drone designed to further bolster Spice's already formidable gift of gab. You had an interdimensional team dinner aboard the Mosaic Vivarium's barracks area for the first time. Finding an already mediocre synthesized spaghetti dinner further ruined by Mosaic Team 1's Shreya Neptune, a human soldier, when she showed you the way that all humans in the future make their pasta better, by adding ketchup to the red sauce. You narrowly escaped, you narrowed down your optimal attack routes, which may end up being an escape, between assaulting the second deck security sector to take down automated defenses or to access the cells directly in front of the first floor to begin claiming bounties at a more rapid clip. After dinner, Javier and Bubbles went to Bubbles' quarters for a more private conversation. Bubbles had promised to show him his weapon. But Spice revealed her weapons first, dropping her towel in front of Team 1's diplomatic officer, who politely excused himself and revealed to Bubbles that this had occurred, remarking that your team was awfully close. Bubbles threatened Javier when Team 1's captain expressed his intention to accept Spice's invitation to her quarters.
Well, he asked you first.
Javier, intimidated by Bubbles, left, but cautioned Bubbles to resolve his emotions before they get the better of him during the mission. You all traveled through the drift for 2 more days, away from the vivarium, and on your third reached an area where the luminous clouds that form the boundaries of the drift channel that you all occupy had collapsed. A situation that would normally result in a week or longer delay as you rerouted through the dangerous space. Instead, with the help of the space goblin Waldo, you performed a superluminal skip maneuver that required Bubbles and Echo to manually modulate the shield's output, while Shade performed a complex push to the normally impassable interstellar dust. And you made it, creating a dense superposition of dark matter behind you that forced your ship to a faster-than-light move through the cloud. You followed Mosaic Team 1's ship as they made their way ever onward past a gorgeous field of shimmering jellyfish that floated through the drift channels like the aurora borealis outside your viewports. And then finally, at the halfway mark of your journey, with only about 3.5 days left to go, a new feature appeared before you. First on scanners, a massive channel of the drift, with tiny signatures that would barely appear on your screen before disappearing again. But when you came into visual range, you witnessed what lay between you and the next leg of your drift adventure. A long corridor of swirling luminous drift dust that has dozens of medium, large, and gargantuan objects hurtling through it, across the narrow corridor, which you can see in front of you. You are at one end, the end closest to Dan and Kara, and you can kind of see the area opens up closer to me. Oh. You don't have your ship, but if you need a temporary one,
I think the ship is in the ship.
The ship is in the ship?
the ship is in
I
the
think the
ship.
ship is
I
in
got a
the ship.
silvery
Nesting
dice.
Typically put the ships in the ships. We got Frankie. Super!
Not a sponsor.
Ship. Wow.
No,
So you can see these objects just
got that for me.
through the corridor from one side and then out into the other, creating almost a Frogger-like space between you and your next level. There are massive hunks of ice, rock, gigantic hunks of twisted metal, boulder swarms of calcium carbonate, and then, almost impossibly large and only visible to one of you with phenomenal perception, you saw in the distance lights, as some sort of bioluminescent orbs, eyes in the dark, flash across the channel impossibly fast, and then disappear alongside a meteor into the drift walls beyond. And as your comms begin to ring, that is where we begin this evening.
Bring, bring.
Beep, beep, beep.
Okay. Shade, you answer the communication. They chime, and you can see that you are being held by Javier from Mosaic Team 1. The ship actually shows up for the first time on your screens as the Starwalker, and that is Mosaic Team 1 ship.
It's not copywritten.
I don't think so.
The Starwalker.
We're talking about Skywalker?
Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you start thinking about sci-fi names for long enough, there's
Right.
a reason people say it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is a ship that moves through space? It's walking amongst the stars. Starwalker. That sounds familiar.
Nice.
It was a whole, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And here we are.
Yeah, sorry. Anyways, beep beep.
You answer your comms. You can see on the vid screen in front of you Javier, the handsome envoy who is part of Team 1. And he says, so, tell me, have you run through an Eneshoan fistula before?
Is he gonna keep asking me about shit that I'm gonna ask you? Do I know about this shit?
Make a piloting check, just to draw upon your general piloting knowledge. You think about an Eneshoan fistula.
This is like when you follow someone in a car,
He's fucking with you.
and you're like,
No,
oh
the
yeah, I'll
last
just
time
follow
he
behind
wasn't.
them, and they'll just take off. And then
Do
just
I
like,
get
Hit a
the
jump
Yeah.
onto the freeway.
34?
A 34. Yes, you've heard of these before, Shade. You think about that term. Eneshoan is actually a scientist, and the fistula, which is really just a word for like a pathway or a thing that takes one thing to another place.
From the Latin.
It is also known as the freeway of a devil, Devil's Freeway.
yes.
This is a place where objects can pass through the drift walls. And you've seen things go into the drift before. Typically, they're just destroyed almost immediately. But before the individual atoms of an object or creature begin to spontaneously spaghettify in different directions, there is a chance that the whole of the object is just ejected elsewhere along the same interstitial theme. And because the entirety of the drift, ultimately, what was your check?
34.
Because the entirety of the drift, with the exception of its shoals and reefs, are basically a huge Eulerian envelope, these objects tend to eject along the same axis, which are called Inertia fistulas. These are typically areas that are they have some kind of movement related to them because of some kind of a radiation event or other high energy event
That channels it through those lines.
it creates a reaction in the drift clouds, and that seems to almost pull objects along the rest of the drift and into it. And so in this moment, you can see like just huge objects are exiting on one side, and in the blink of an eye, they pass like miles and then just out the other side. It's a immensely challenging piece of terrain. But Javier says, I can see that this means something to you. So, you should know, speed is not always the answer here. Do you have any questions about what you must do?
Matt does,
Yeah.
but I don't think... Would Shade know how to proceed through this?
With your previous
safely
piloting
as
check, you
possible?
have a general idea that, like,
Don't go into the ones that are gonna be highly dense with, like, all of the force of the object that was spaghettified.
so these objects that you're seeing, they have not been spaghettified.
Right.
And these are things that are whole. You see, like, in this moment, what looks like the wreckage of an entire super colossal ship just up here. There's no lights. It is dead, twisted. There is like damage to it. And then in an instant, it is just gone. And what I would say is, Shade, or everybody who is in the cockpit or
Is it
interviewed
kinda
or
like-
make a perception
Is
check.
it kind of like it's reaching the like event horizon and just getting
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
sucked in
That's what I'm thinking.
like hyper fast?
Make a physical sciences check if you want to know the answer to that.
36 for perception.
All
you
right,
said?
natural
Yeah.
20 for the physical sciences, and not as well for the perception.
I got a
But still
22
25.
for perception. Sorry, I noticed.
Or sorry, 29.
29.
29. So with a 20, okay, so a couple different things happen all at once here. The perception check, Echo, for you in particular, as you are sort of looking out and seeing what is happening in this space, you notice that when these objects move through, they're almost always accompanied by like smaller objects, and those are just yanked along with them. And that would tell you that beyond just having to navigate around these, there is an area that is perhaps like a mile wide on either side that will also just yank your ship off course. Traveling even close to these objects will result in your ship not moving as you would likely plan it to.
And that's all objects, not just like one specific area.
Correct.
Because they're creating
They're-
their own gravitation.
Not only are they creating their own gravitational field, because you see here and there medium-sized objects, large-sized objects, and then you see what looks like perhaps a dwarf planet off in the distance, just out the other side. They're huge, but it's the velocity. They are moving so quickly, and even though where they are right now is a vacuum, whatever they seem to be moving through, they're pulling enough. You see at one point, actually, there was a bright flash of purple off in the distance as a comet bursts through, and almost spontaneously as it exits the drift cloud, the ion gas ignites, and it just begins to burn with this luminescence, then it just disappears out the other side. They're moving so quickly that they're pulling atmosphere or other elements alongside them. And this is in the velocity that these things are moving at is hard to imagine. And when you think about this, you're realizing there are objects passing through that you can't even see. You're not seeing most of the small and medium things. You're just seeing the really big stuff. And that gives you really a scope for how big some of these things are.
And I'm fast.
You are fast.
The ship? A little
I
faster.
meant more of like, my eyes are fast.
With a physical sciences check and a natural 20, you would know there are two ways that you could potentially go about this. You could fly really fast and be a great pilot, maybe have some gunnery support to blow objects out, although they're moving so quickly it would really be like Bubbles would just hold down the trigger and hopes he hits something.
Spray and pray.
And that has some other issues, like you can create collisions and that would like ricochet things around the channel. Or and as you're kind of like, Javier says, do you have any questions? And you really don't. You kind of know what's going on here. He says, we'll see you on the other side, Mosaic Team 5. And terminates the communication, and their shields drop to 0. And they just drift into this space. And you know that they are doing this because
They're just gonna ride.
the electromagnetic wake that Echo sort of knows about, and that with a natural 20 you know about as well. If you have your shields, it will yank you off course. If you don't, even if you go near them, it will not pull you off. That being said,
Oh, fuck. Let me have a shield.
it's kind of an all or nothing thing. You have to really believe in your piloting, and you notice they are not going full speed. They're moving half speed. They're doing everything that they can not to attract the attention or the kind of radiation here. You imagine your thrusters would probably also have effects on the various objects moving by. And so they just drift. And you watch as almost painfully slowly they enter into this horrendous field of space. Give me 1 second. Let me pull out their ship here. Got a bunch of ships here.
We're gonna go fast, right? Fast,
Gotta go
fast,
fast.
fast, fast, fast.
Yeah, just start and then we just stop.
Play that
We
music
we just
again. I'm
go.
gonna be fucking Shadow the Hedgehog.
We
out
just
here.
go with the
It's gonna
momentum.
begin to drift.
Sonic the Hedgehog was like, "Hey guys, have you seen this new Twitch stream? It's great."
Would we? Because it's a gravity. If we stop our thrusters, would we slow because of the gravity that we're experiencing, or no? Because I'm just
It would
curious. with the drift.
slingshot us.
So no matter what you do with your controls, they will respond normally until an object passes near you, and then its momentum will move you in the direction that it's moving. As you're watching, most things are moving from your port side to the starboard side, but every now and then something comes in through diagonally, something will come from the bottom through the top, and every now and then you see like a pair of asteroids that
So we
We're going
basically
around each
have
other.
to be like in that scene in Avatar when they have all those little spinny things, and Korra has to go through and learn how to master her airbending. We have to be a leaf on the water, just floating along the current.
yes,
Or we could go fast.
the water is fire.
Right, but the water
And
is
if you touch it, you
Literally,
will
yeah.
die.
liquid hot magma.
If you get, and to be clear, these objects,
Guys.
you can see directly in front of you, there is an asteroid that moves out and it just appears almost immediately into the other side, but it's roughly the size of the hollow husk. And like these things are gigantic. And so if you get directly hit by them, that's kind of it.
Cool.
Especially if you have your shields down.
I'm just saying, if we just move so fast, we'll confuse the asteroids. They won't even know we're there, and it'll just work that way.
These asteroids are not
There are no
sentient.
alternatives
We'll
to
just confuse
getting
gravity.
through that are safer.
You can always reroute.
Oh.
Just reroute. That's gonna
Oh, but
that's gonna
yeah.
add like a week on our time.
well, look,
We're
And
gonna-
you're also synced up to all arrive at the same time,
Yeah.
including Rose Lashwind,
So they'll
to
get
rendezvous at the same time, so
Yeah,
that
no,
you can all
Rose
attack,
is gonna be
Yeah, I invited it. You're
so that you can all attack this prison barge at the same time.
Yeah. So we can't be late. So I guess we gotta just fucking do it.
there. Go fast.
Hypothetically, if we probably couldn't park. No, that's dumb. That's dumb. Never mind.
I'm going to initiate all of the systems to basically match their approach, assuming that that's the highest probability of success approach by taking the shields down and everything initially, and then if we have to put the shields on in an emergency, we can.
Okay.
It feels like that's going to be that'll be worse.
I don't
situation.
want to blow things up with the gunnery seat, but I imagine if the comes to it, I might have to. So
Okay.
it might make sense to be in there.
Firing will be bad, but also thrusters and shields are bad. So basically, like anything that we do is going to have drawbacks.
Guys, let's
So we
just
should
do
try
erratic
to
maneuvering.
go as passively through as possible until we need to not. In which case, we're probably already fucked. Is kind of the sense that I'm getting. Anyone disagree?
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right.
Bubs is
So-
gonna remember as
Shay's gonna start initiating that and tell everyone sort of like this is what we're doing and explain what in the physical sciences
as
terms
Bubs is listening to this.
of like why we need to go slowly and carefully to not get spaghettified.
I'm gonna get in the gunnery seat and I'm just going to look up. He knows from information that Steele has told him about this old Earth game called Billiards.
Yeah.
And he's going to just try to learn about the geometry of hitting balls and cues
Okay.
and pocket shots and stuff like that. Maybe it'll help.
So as you pull this out, you begin to look, and it is an ancient PDF that was saved from a game that was called Yahoo Pool. And you take it out and you look, it's just these grainy, like 28-bit like little images. But yeah, you start studying that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can I get in the magic officer's seat by pulling out my gross keyboard and sitting in the co-pilot seat?
You can, but you can do it because we're going to jump into starship combat real quick.
Cool.
So the way that this is going to
Oh,
work,
I should get that ready.
depending on the speed that you go, this should only take you somewhere in the neighborhood of between like 2 and 4 rounds, probably. If you choose to go much slower, closer to 5 or 6. But we're going to go into starship combat. You are the only people who are in initiative, which means
Yes.
the battlefield will change, and then you will react to it.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool. I'm gonna grab my sheet of
Yes, I'm doing my sheet as well.
Can you look at the last thing on Mystic Officers? I'm now eligible for that
Mystic
Remember we
Officer.
also leveled up.
because we leveled up.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's
so keep
pretty
that
dope.
in mind. That's my thing. That's my plan.
Oh shit! Yeah, we have the new things that
We
I wanted
have
to
the
use
new
in the
things.
fucking
That's
lockout
pretty
tournament.
Yeah.
cool. That's pretty cool.
We only gained one level since the lockout tournament, correct?
It's almost like that was because it would really wreck the lockout tournament.
We only gained one level since the lockout tournament, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're level 12.
Okay, so I just add one. Perfect.
So,
Easy peasy.
on the first round of this combat, you can see a couple of things happen. I'm going to change this battlefield up in a second. First, directly in front of you, an asteroid roughly the size of the, not just the hollow husk, but the entire level of the station that it's attached to, just out of the drift. You see a cluster of metallic debris that may have been an asteroid at one point, just spray through in a cone shape. You can see a hunk of ice the size of Rhode Island, spinning like a saucer, just skipped across the water. And then you see a huge column of volcanic rock the size of perhaps Italy that comes whirling in like a rifle bulleted about 600 miles long. And it just comes just whirring in. And so you can see you have... Excuse me. Dan. You have... asteroid. You have metallic debris. You have your large chunk of ice that is spinning around like that. And then you have your... I'll look up. I forgot what the last one was. Oh,
Is that
you have
Italy?
your Italy rock.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's Italy.
Huge, and it's almost just like a gigantic lava tube that is about 600 miles long that is spinning like a rifled bullet just through space. And all of this just kind of emerges, and you can see Mosaic Team 1 just drifts ahead, and they are only moving. You see that 1 point, Gibbs.
Oh yeah.
You can see in front of you as this huge asteroid moves forwards, there is this kind of thing, and all of a sudden they like move forwards, and it's like in a video game, they just clip back one space. And you recognize a very similar kind of psychic current that somebody on that ship seems to be using.
I
But
just squint
drift
angrily.
Right in front. Gibbs, make a mysticism check.
Pretty high.
Oh yeah, we hate Team 1, by the way.
I hate Team 1.
Yes, high five!
Bubbles
Bubbles hates Team
No,
1.
she hates Team 1 too.
Okay, so you and Gibbs.
With your bonus you now gave me, it's 25 plus 8 is 33.
There is a part to this effect that is not resolved yet. And so beyond just the thing that you are looking at, there is a second part to this that is yet to occur. Yes.
Sorry, I had to complete this joke. Spice also hates the Vesk. Also,
Does he-
I would like to just real quick, go to the director and just ask him, Director, can you put on targeting sights?
Doing that now, Bubbles. And that just activates on.
And can you also, if there's anything you know about reflection principles or predicting trajectories, that would help a lot.
You've had mind thrust cast on you before, and it's almost like that. The director goes, doing so now. And you can see this little pinpoint come down and then just beam across the entire gunnery viewport. Just thousands. It's like a beautiful mind of just light equations, and you are just like overwhelmed. This means nothing to you. But it is like an entire primer from like the beginnings of understanding basic mathematics up to like thinking about superposition in quantum space. All of that is now laid out in front of you. And it helps you exactly as much as you imagine. So you come hurtling through, you see Team 1 just slowly drifting into this chaos debris. What are you all doing?
Don't do that.
So this one, I'm seeing it going in this direction.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go this way with, shields down. They aren't using their thrusters, are they? Did they just like start with a thrust and then ride that a bit?
Yep.
Okay.
Riding
So
momentum.
I'm gonna do that as well.
How many do you want to move?
Go boop, boop, boop.
How many can we go?
So if you're just riding your thrusters, you're basically moving half speed.
Which I can go. I think standard is
I think it was
11. No, but I have.
He gets a bonus
bonuses.
part of this thing.
So I go. That was 4. I think I could go 5 or 6.
I think you can go 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go 4 for now.
I think you have to go 6.
Oh.
Yeah.
Go
Like, I
Oh,
think-
because I'm just drifting.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I go boop, boop.
So you turned your heading, and to do that means that you are using your thrusters, because you can't just turn the ship with no
Oh,
momentum.
okay. I see what you mean. So I'm gonna go.
Sorry, I'm trying to be helpful.
So
It's hard with the way that is set
Yeah.
up, but it was the easiest way to make a little channel.
can I instead then?
If you go the other way, you could use your thrusters behind this guy, and then we could fuck them over.
We don't.
Trying to fuck them.
Yeah, we don't.
I mean, we could just hide behind them.
Could
Yeah, but they'd be
Echo,
closer
so
to
there's
that, too.
there's the hard turn thing, which uses thrusters, but could Echo like manipulate it in such a way to like help us like with our trajectory, like get an initial boost to like slingshot?
It would
that's
use your
kinda-
thrusters, but yes, you definitely could.
Because what I'm trying to do is
And in fact, Echo, there's some component to that you imagine is what Team 1 is
Like-
doing right now.
I'm basically because I'm basically trying to like skirt around this side so that then we get pulled a little bit in this heading.
So Echo's
with
usually
the
in between
trajectory
the
of
chief
this.
mate or the engineering phase, not phase, position. So Echo like calms in and says, I can nudge the thrusters just a little bit from here to better facilitate our trajectory.
It would be better to wait until it was absolutely necessary.
I can do
this is necessary now.
I can do it without thrusters. And I cast Psychic Current, which is the same thing he's doing. So Psychic Current gives you... I can change the way that the vessel interacts with space-time. I have to roll for it, but on a success, starship distance between turns is reduced, and we also would get a +2 to starship stream. Starship speed.
Speed. There we go.
Say that 5 times fast.
No, I can't say it one time
Okay,
slow.
So then we would go. What? We would be going 8.
Correct.
But you, and you also get movability.
Our turn.
We already have perfect mobility.
No,
But not
no,
if-
that's
if
you're
you use the
thinking of this-
thrusters.
We have we don't have perfect mobility if we're not using thrusters.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
I
yeah.
can-
Zero mobility
Yeah.
if you're not
Yeah.
using
I
those.
see.
Basically, I can have Psychic Current, the same thing he's
To
doing.
kind of push us
That's
in
To
so
push us
cool.
around.
direction.
That helps so much.
Yeah, and I have the resolve points to spend it because we're rested.
So can I go basically like this diagonal?
This is the
With
original
Gibbs's
spot.
ability, that means that you could either go that diagonal right to the edge and then have one turn to think about how to deal with that problem,
Right, and then
or
have-
you could have Gibbs turn you that one, using that speed, you can just kind of curve around and then just keep going.
That's it.
Right, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is have me go down to here and then curve a little bit.
Absolutely.
Curve a little bit to get us the 8.
I believe you can just do one curve, and then if Echo wanted to use their ability, they could use
Well,
the
I think
other.
we don't necessarily need we don't need another curl if we go 1, 2,
I just want to do something.
4, 5 curl, 6, 7, 8. So we could just go right there.
Yeah.
But then we're right there, right next to the wall. Maybe you let Echo
Yeah.
give us a little booty
If we
boost.
curl more,
we're
we
gonna-
can get in
Yeah.
a better heading.
Otherwise,
this way.
you're completely locked in on one straight line.
For that round, right?
We would have to turn thrusters on full in order to like.
Otherwise, you could just repeat this, and you give yourself more flexibility if you turn.
If we're in the middle,
I
we can
see,
go left
yeah.
or right.
All right, then yeah, do that too.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea.
All right, you using that ability?
Yes.
All right, make a check.
I'm rolling check too.
No, for Echoes.
So Echo is 35.
35, very nice. Right as the ship begins to shift and move, and it moves in a way that it's not designed to do, it just suddenly begins to turn without thrusters. There's creaks in the metal as the mechanisms kind of complain, but you can use that to time this perfectly and just give a tiny bit of juice to the thrusters manually. The ship turns. Can you roll a D100, please?
I always pick like.
Higher numbers are better. I'll give you that right now.
Don't get
Big
a
whammies,
1
big whammies,
instant
big whammies.
spaghettification.
I don't think we have instant spaghettification, but we're starting to extrude out with a 45.
Okay, that's not as bad as it could be,
That's what I said, not instant, just extruding.
but it's not great.
We're
Don't
extruding.
worry, I'll put ketchup on
So
you.
you hit the thrusters, everything is working out perfect. You just thread the needle here, and as you hit the thrusters, this huge asteroid that's going by cracks. And there are elements that are metallic that separate off and are just sucked into the engine. There is a as it just rips through because your shields are down. They are kicked out, your engines are still on, but you do take 26 points of damage. How much health do you have left on the director?
Well, with our shields. So that
Well, these are the tendon slicers. Hold on, I
so
gotta
it's
pull it
10,
up
10 shield points on each side.
No, we don't have shields. Shields are down.
Shields are down.
Oh, our shields are down.
That was the
Yeah.
whole point, Echo!
Hush.
Joe, would I be able to ready in action for if this happens each turn? Well, I'll say I ready in action just if it comes close.
You certainly can, yeah. So
That's what
as this
I'll
is
do.
like pelting into
do
the
that,
ship,
so much as that.
now you know what you can do. You like swipe aside all these equations.
Yeah.
You have no idea what this means, but you know how to use a gun. You power it up.
My HP is missing from my sheet.
I'm pulling up the starship on this here.
I can pull it up.
Hephaestus. I
Yes.
believe it's 32.
I thought it was 36.
We'll take the higher number. 36 sounds
you're
great.
right.
I got this.
You're right. It's 36.
36. Okay. So with 26 points of damage, you are taking a hefty blow. There is smoke that just begins to fill the engineering bay, and for you, Echo, there is fire around you. This is a emergent situation that is now beginning, and this is something that you probably want to deal with to be able to use your thrusters safely. Yes.
Never mind. It's telling me other numbers, but that's fine.
What is the other number?
100 HP.
It could be 100 HP. It could be
because
something about the
it's-
shuttle.
Because it says we get 70 from the base frame and plus 30 from our tier.
Look right now. Apologies, everybody.
But that's also
AC
just
that
based on
started
the one that I
off.
put into Hephaestus.
They changed how the
A digital
The sheet
tool
looks-
set.
They did. And so I
all
have
of
an
your
even different
Starfinder
number. I have
needs,
75.
Sponsor.
So
Probably without the tier bonus.
correct. That would make sense.
That doesn't help.
Okay. So then we'll say, for the sake of this encounter, that actually puts you at 84 health, which minus the 26 will put you at 58, I believe. Somebody please check my math. It is still a substantial amount of damage. Echo, there is no fire active in the engineering bay, but there is smoke, and you know taking another hit like that will certainly be devastating and likely start putting you into that catastrophic failure territory on a variety of systems. But you skirt around this asteroid. That is round one. And at the end of round one, give me just 1 second.
Everything moves.
It does.
How's Waldo
the
looking?
asteroid disappears. They are unhurt. You can't
Damn.
see Waldo, but the ship looks fine. The metallic debris just disappears. The huge hunk of ice disappears. And you see taking these things place, first directly behind you, and you actually move far enough so that this is not going to really impact you. A colossal freighter, the husk of one, comes hurtling end over end, diagonally across the void. It goes straight behind Mosaic Team 1's ship. You see it just like almost disappears into the corner. There is a pair of stony asteroids orbiting each other like lovers with a cloud of stones the size of your ship in their wake, and that is coming out about 3 rows ahead of you. There is a huge link. This is something that is entirely like unexpected. So about 10 rows in front of you, you can see what looks like a massive connection of different mechanical components. And as they go through and they catch some of your ship's running lights, you can see they are huge photovoltaic panels. Each would cover probably the size of a city or more space. They are gigantic and they just streak like a ribbon across the space. And then you see a smoking hunk of some sort of petrified biomass, actually, that looks kind of like a cocoon and would be roughly the size of Massachusetts. That is just shifting out of space. I like how you guys are. Okay, I'll put mine away.
You got stuff?
I like those way better. Those are so much better. Let me bring up Combat Cam.
It's fine.
It's just a lady and a cat.
Between a rock and a hard place.
So, Mosaic Team 1. You can see whatever this time spell is, or whatever the spell is has to do with time. And that seems to be the component that kind of resolves right here. And as that asteroid disappears and this huge kind of twisted colossal freighter goes jettisoning out this way, and you can see, as it lands right about here, they spring ahead.
That's just my placeholder.
Oh.
Straight into that asteroid.
No.
Damn.
They're doing some time stuff.
We do need them.
And
3 out of 5
suddenly,
members hate
you don't see them just rocket ahead like they're being slingshotted. It is like they become ghostly and just shift through the space. It's faster than normal travel, but there is no sign of activity from the thrusters, and that spell resolves. And they are now far ahead of you. You can see
don't have that
they're
spell.
like amongst a bunch of different things. You get the sense, Gibbs, that is not a spell. That is a feature of some kind. But it's something that has to do with time. And they, right ahead, you can see there are these photovoltaic panels, which are probably part of like a Dyson sphere, that are just flying across the space. What are you all doing?
I'm gonna get on to the director, Mike. Director, can you analyze the upcoming long debris in front of us for any weak parts that we could possibly shoot and fly through?
That's a
Minor crew action.
crew action. That's a
Oh,
crew
it's an
action.
analyze?
There's like
We also don't want to shoot anything. We don't want to.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, just in case. I don't want to shoot.
as passive as possible.
But you definitely can.
Can't take
The director says doing so now. And as they target this,
targeting aid.
they pull up the same kind of light across the glass that made these equations. They're much more helpful now. You can see they pinpoint what looks almost like these massive pinions that would connect each of the voltaic panels, each one almost like what would link train cars together. Each one roughly 1,000 miles long. They're huge. And so they're absolutely gigantic. You get the sense that your guns will not do very much against those. If you did it perfect as you went through the glass of one of these panels, you might be able to break through a small portion. But it's a devastatingly large chain of material. But what are you all doing as Mosaic Team 1 rockets ahead?
Could I scry looking for information, and instead of it being about an enemy starship, see if I could figure out like a precognition, the movement of an obstacle or some shit?
That's cool as hell.
Cool.
So go ahead and make a mysticism check.
Cool. I've got a DC here if you want it.
What is the DC?
Just so you have a reference, it's DC 5 plus 1.5 enemy starship tier.
Perfect.
So. Natural 20!
For a total of?
A fucking a million. Sorry, I'll be more helpful, I promise.
Well,
23 plus 20.
Okay.
43.
43,
well
please.
over what you needed. As you use this ability, first of all, you cast this and it goes out and kind of ripples through, and there is a target to it. Lurking on the outside of all of this debris, there is a creature that is super colossal. And it is something that lurks on the outside of this channel, almost impossibly.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god, we get to see the butthole! We are just in the sphincter!
I think it's like
Thanks to Matt for this.
Oh, damn, there it is. Oh, man.
But this is something
That's
that
so
would
pretty.
be thousands of miles long. It would be able to wrap itself around like an asteroid quite easily. This is a huge creature. You had seen these bioluminescent orbs. These are eyes that just come down the side. It's huge, and it is just somehow it is flying and existing in a space that is thought to be impossible to inhabit. And it is not visible to any of you. You sense and have these like visions of the smoke parting and it just bursting through, feasting upon like the husk of a ship. You also, in that spell, get the sense that in about a minute or so, a rubble pile of asteroids that is almost as black as the space behind it is going to come rippling out right around where Matt is. You get the sense that there is a colossal comet that is going to be just ricocheting out really close to where you are, and a what is probably it's kind of ruining my joke, but you can see shooting straight down the middle, right from one end to the other. You would not be able to see it. It's a medium size, or it's a I believe it's a small sized object, but you visualize a fire extinguisher just straight down the back.
God!
And like a railgun, it probably would have shot straight through Mosaic Team 1's ship if they continue along their current heading. Maybe something to give them a heads up on. You see also at the very end, kind of close to where Matt is on this corner, and this is maybe coming farthest in the future, what looks like a dwarf planet that is just slowly approaching this area as if it's about to burst through as well. And so there is a lot of stuff that is just ricocheting around, and at the edge of your vision, you sense like hundreds of objects. There's many things that are coming, but that is just what's on the horizon.
The drift needs to eat more fiber.
Yeah. Anybody else doing anything?
Can I mind link with the director to put that all on a pretty map or something?
No, you're right now like visualizing all of this. Yeah, you're holding the bottle up and like looking into it, and you're seeing stuff. It's just chunks to everyone else, but you're seeing.
There's
like,
a thing that's coming.
So I can patch things and I can like do quick fixes, but it says it's for critical damage.
Correct.
We're not at critical.
We're not there yet.
Right.
Is there a way that I can just like hold the walls up?
Duct tape.
That's something that happens outside of combat, really,
Okay.
typically. Because, like, you, even if you're down to 0 HP, you're not destroyed. There's, like, still time to do things. But, yeah, for the moment, you focus on the task at hand, which is surviving this sort of freeway.
In which case, I think maybe Echo is going to like focus on getting as much like telemetry data as possible on like gravity fields that are like in our immediate vicinity.
Make a computer's check.
Well, like what do you scan?
Oh, okay, yeah. Make a science officer action.
I love that.
Just check. The DC is 5 plus 1.5 the enemy starship tier plus countermeasure defenses and sensors.
So
Which
it's
is not
18.
a starship, so.
The DC is 18 for like us.
I believe so, yeah.
If like to do it against us.
Against us, it would be 1.5, so 12 plus 5, 17 plus our countermeasures are
Nil.
not nil. Shade has installed countermeasures.
Cool. Well, I got a 30.
A 30.
Okay, it's
Okay.
not gonna be that. So, yeah.
So with a 30, you begin to pull up telemetry data, and you get a sense as to the direction that these objects will go. You're not able to determine what the wake of these things will do quite yet, but you do get the sense that Gibbs hasn't really communicated everything that's happening.
No.
Oh, Jesus.
But there's
is
gonna be
going
something,
straight down there.
and then a
This
fire
is
extinguisher.
on its way out, right off in that direction. And then this is hurtling diagonally and will exit out there.
Great. And Echo puts like all that up into like a nice little display and
Nice.
sends it off to the cockpit.
So suddenly there is just this ghostly overlay that is an Echo Eye Blue that is just showing you these different trajectories. And what are you doing, Shade?
So it's a +2 to turn, minus
Until the end of next turn. So it's +2 to
maneuverability?
starship
Until the end
speed.
of next turn. That's extra nice.
On success, reduce the ship's starship distance between turns by 1.
Okay. So I think if I use a maneuver action for piloting check, move starship up to its speed, DC 15 plus 1.5 the starship tier piloting check to reduce starship's distance between turns by 1, which would give us perfect maneuverability again with
And we'd be
The-
using thrusters.
benefits. I don't think we are using thrusters.
what is it called?
Maneuver?
Right. So how do you maneuver?
Well, I'm thinking like you can just, tilt.
But in a spaceship, to turn in a vacuum, you're using a thruster to generate
I guess,
that turn.
yeah.
Everyone just run to one side.
Then
So you say that as a joke, but there are things that you can do.
Really?
Not in a vacuum, but like
Yeah.
you can absolutely do things like that.
so
Man, flying planes,
Yeah, on a plane, yeah.
cargo load is really freaking important, let me tell you.
So I guess glide because glide doesn't use any
Gliding is
Thrusters,
basically what
right?
we've been doing this
Yeah.
whole time.
And you've
right.
been using
but you can
Echo
still
and
turn. It just takes the +2, which
Is reduced by 1.
right
So you'll take 1 movement.
one movement.
So you could move 5 squares and
turn one arc.
turn 1 arc. Or use 4 squares and turn 2 arcs.
That might be better.
Right.
And then this is the last time that you can do it until Gibbs does it again. So
So this is gonna move.
correct.
Right.
So if you're in that pathway at the end of the turn, you're going to get hit by all that stuff.
So,
So you do not want to end underneath a pencil. That would be a bad place
How
to be.
big is this pencil rock?
The pencil rock, so that's this thing down here.
So the pencils are the
it's-
trajectories.
Okay.
Yeah. But this
They're
big
pointy.
like pencil
That's
shaped rock,
Okay, I see now.
600
Italy.
miles long.
is this
That one's Rhode
also
Island.
No, I
moving
see
with it, or
now.
is this part of it now, or is this?
This is the
separate?
trajectory
I
line.
didn't-
Yeah.
right.
Each
of
pencil's a
distance.
trajectory. That's the object.
Cool. Then I think I just want to glide 1, 2, 3, 4.
But you have to go all 6.
Yeah.
Or
No, because he's using glide and using 1 arc, one to turn.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have perfect maneuverability.
Yeah. So I went
If you did 2
1,
arcs, would it be enough for a loop-de-loop? No.
2, 3, 4, 5. Right.
yeah, but then you would just need to turn also. So part of that is
He turned to start.
oh right, yeah. There you go. Absolutely, yeah. So you come up and it will literally be like this object is going to pass very quickly. So the wake is going to affect you.
Right, but I'm hoping that the wake will take us, just like kind of pull us this way with it a bit.
That would make sense, yeah. It just really determines how much it's going to be. The fact that you don't have your shields on, very helpful.
Yeah.
That is going to mean that you are not thrashed into the side. It's that's a great maneuver. Anybody else have anything that they want to do? Minor crew actions?
I've done my thing.
I just start.
I've done my thing.
Okay.
I start talking.
I'm gonna ready an action just in case.
So Gibbs, all of a
bunch of
sudden,
calculations.
communication comes up, and Gibbs starts saying, like, I can see the future. And he begins to tell you, and you hear about all this. You hear about this monstrous creature that is, like, slithering along this path. And as Gibbs says, an asteroid almost as black as the space behind it. If you want to clear the stuff that is off of here, and I'll just move this stuff around for you.
Inquiring about the
died.
lottery numbers.
So you can see this
This
big
all
cluster
moves.
of like black asteroids comes out right here, and they're moving off in this direction. You can see a colossal comet that explodes into all these different things. I'm gonna use
Jesus.
both of these. Is going to come right out of where Ari is. Right.
So this is just a mass of small things that still looks big?
So right here,
It's like a cloud of
big like rocky
Cloud.
ice piece, and then it is followed by like explosion
detritus.
of green
Small clouds, yeah.
green ions, and then what Gibbs had talked about, this creature, you see just burst across the end right here, red orbs flashing across the dark, and then it moves in this direction. And
Oh man, this guy's costing shit a little bit.
that is what you see. What was your computer's check, or what was your scan, Echo?
30.
30, okay. So that is what you see. You lose the telemetry data. As all these objects are moving around, your ship, right on the edge of this with the shields down, is not pulled off course in any direction. You are able to just move unabated. You are not pulled off course. Having the shields down, very much working in your favor. That is the other movement. That brings us to Team 1. Team 1 is just drifting now.
Do we have the telemetry on this now? I guess not.
That was the scan.
Right, and we don't have the +1 anymore.
All right,
Yeah,
Team
almost like
5,
we
you
do.
watch as Team 1 just drifts ahead. They have really not done anything since that initial maneuver. They are just going straight through.
I want to use my exocortex to run a scan to try and get some trajectory.
Okay, yeah,
run
make a
some
scan check.
calculations, and then piloting check to do whatever maneuver ends up making the most sense. Computers check.
Yeah.
I gotta go over to DC. Okay, so it's a 25.
The 25.
Here's a bunch. You good?
I have so many pencils down here, I'm learning.
Ooh.
You do get the trajectory of this,
Oof.
and you get the trajectory of this. But what you don't understand is where this thing is going. It's disappeared, and that check was not high enough to register its wake.
The monster,
Yeah, it's a drift colossus.
Colossus.
So, that is the exocortex action. Hold on, think about what you want to do for flying.
what?
Anybody else, other things? Yes, Gibbs.
Can I open up comms to Team 1?
You certainly can.
If you don't move off that central chain, you're gonna get a fire extinguisher through your windshield, my friends. And also, there's a drift colossus that you might want to avoid. You're looking mighty tasty.
Okay. Make a diplomacy check just for fun.
Sure. Okay. 7 plus 12 is 19.
19's still not bad. The comm returns, and you actually see the face of none other than your own counterpart, the space goblin Waldo, who has these mechanical suspenders. You can see they squint their eyes and they go, "What are you talking about? Oh, brace!" And then there is just this poof, as they shift. They do need to activate their thrusters briefly, and so we'll get back to that. But in your scanners, for just a moment, you track a fire extinguisher as it fires straight down the channel at the velocity of like a railgun piece of ammunition. It just goes ricocheting. You can see just the loose end like flopping behind it, and it just disappears off your scanners almost as soon as you see it. But you save them that fire extinguisher almost straight to the face.
Told you
And you
so.
can see Waldo looks and says, "Thank you for that.
Sure.
Return the favor later." And they end the communicator. But no problem. That is you. Echo, anything that you want to do?
Echo. Echo just wants to hold the shit together. I don't know, man. I'm also loading, and I'm kind of stalling for time as the thing is loading.
Can I psychic currents or no?
No, with the communication, that's what you did.
So you'll deal with it.
I think I'm just gonna continue to glide 5 straight ahead.
Yeah, very nice.
I'll ready my guns in case I have to, but probably not.
If you guys had your shields on, this would be such a big problem, but you guys are really... It's working out.
Threading the needle.
Like, there's two spaces that you could be in.
Like fell off.
It's glued,
It's
so
already-
you just
yeah.
need to reglue it.
You already did your exocortex action, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And now he's moving, piloting.
Right.
Well, I can hold off on the piloting because it technically happens at the end, but my
No, I'm
plan
just-
is to just continue to glide because it puts us right in the fucking slot.
Is my like trajectory scan still holding, or do I need to like do it? Should I do it again?
You're seeing the trajectories that Shade added over yours.
Mm-hmm.
So your objects that you tracked are gone. Shade was able to track these two. The monster is not tracked right now, and so you get the sense that
Could I have assisted with like a manual realignment, which realigns the ship's sensors manually to better focus and gain a bonus to the scan?
what is the bonus? Is it greater than almost?
They receive one additional piece of information as though their result were 5 higher.
5 higher. That's
wow.
enough.
Hey!
Ooh, so now you're gonna know where the
Because it
goober
was
is.
25 to 30. That's the big difference maker. Nice. And they're not gonna eat us.
I don't have another.
We are in the triangle.
Oh, it's coming up behind us, huh?
Would we deal with the wake from it coming next to us, or are we
Ring
kind
of
of not
fire.
close enough?
So
We're asking questions about a mythical beast.
this is a mythic, and
Yeah.
beyond that, it's existing outside of even our fake like space-time rules.
Okay.
It's even existing outside of that. So this is a pretty potent creature. What you are seeing is it is going to come in at this on the next turn. Its wake probably won't as long as your shields are still down. But no worries. With your assisting the scan, suddenly it is just able to penetrate the drift wall. And with this huge creature, you get the sense that it is flying almost directly at you, just on the other side of this thin seam of super energized ions.
So cool.
But anybody else doing anything? Okay.
Clenching.
You fly ahead, you drift forwards, you are just keeping Mosaic Team 1 now in your sights. You are slowly gaining on them, in fact. And then, as the next round begins,
All the pencils go
you see
away.
the huge thing of like space debris flies directly in front of you. It is like jet black chunks of rock, so it just makes these temporary blind spots across the view screen. You can see this other huge comet just explodes across the stream, and it is this gorgeous shower of green ion sparks as the gas that is held from wherever this place came is still attached and is just quickly igniting. And then just behind you, the drift opens, and this huge creature comes flying out. You can see it is just all these different... That creature looks a lot prettier than what you are seeing behind you. Same kind of size, same kind of general shape, but there are no arms or legs or fins. There is thousands of what look almost like spider or insectoid arms that are tucked tight against the body to make it just smooth all straight down, but you get the sense that it could open up and just be almost like a Christmas tree of like spider legs. But this creature just explodes out. You see these big red eyes all along the kind of side of this thing, and it opens up its mouth and swallows the entire comet whole, and it just disappears into this creature's gullet. You see suddenly this huge explosion of green inside the creature, and it just turns and is directly behind you. And that brings us to round 4.
It wants it.
What?
Round
It wants it.
It wants the
It
green.
wants our yummy.
Yeah.
It's just gonna crack us open like an oyster and suck out the
I think
insides.
it's more like it is so large that
think it wants radiation
we
or
are
something.
krill, and it would not even really notice us. It's just opening its mouth and taking in whatever is available.
I guess.
Only 2 objects come through for round 4. You can see off in the very far right corner, this dwarf planet erupts through the drift and comes spiraling towards you. You can see there's a massive crater in the center of it that seems to almost blink at you as an eye as it just goes end over end in your direction. You can see there is just this big chunk of what looks like maybe metal that has been twisted together with stone that is also just flying and rotating almost directly straight down this drift channel, and it's going almost straight at your ship. But these are the objects that come up. I would say Mosaic Team 5, if you survive this round, you can hit your thrusters and just emerge on the other side of the drift channel. But there is a very large creature behind you. What would you like to do? Oh, Team 1. Actually, Team 1 is going to turn on their thrusters. And
They're gonna leave us in the dust.
straight off.
But
But they do open up communications to you, Shade, and you can see, actually, just to the general Mosaic Team 5 channel, and it is the Space Goblin Waldo. And he's going to say, returning the favor now, you're being chased. Good luck. And they terminate
Well,
the
I warned him
communication.
about. That's not a good favor.
But they
This
just
dick.
take off.
That was a terrible.
What are you all doing?
All Mystic Currents, so it's easier for Matt. For Shade.
Okay.
Sorry.
maximize speed.
Maximum
Nice.
speed. Okay.
Is that what's that do? +2 to movement, +2 to speed for engines.
At which the speed of your starship increases
That's
by
all
2
I-
Yeah, I
this
think,
round.
that's
And I have a plus. You get a +2 from us too,
So that's 4.
Okay.
and you get some movability from me.
Cool. That gives
want me to
me,
roll the check
I
order?
believe.
Yeah.
I think that does it.
I think I can get off the end. Because, yeah, I have 7, 9, 11, 14. Yeah, so I think I can move like 16 now.
We'll see.
I didn't get a natural one.
Ooh.
Did get a 2 on the die, which is a 25. Which
Okay.
isn't bad.
No, it's
but
not
it's
bad.
not enough.
No, it is enough.
Oh!
It says, is it not 32?
It's not
DC,
32.
It's 25 plus 1.5 your starship.
25 plus
Oh, that's 29.
Yeah. What did you say?
25.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
unfortunately,
wait. You get a +4 from the director because we always get the +4.
Yeah.
there you go.
Thanks, buddy.
And so, whirlwind of emotions there.
I can kind of not fail.
And so,
Don't miss.
as you are focusing on the engines, there is like smoke all around you. You want to hold the ship together, but you can't. The only thing that you can do is your go-to move, go fast.
Gotta go fast.
And so you overclock the engines from where you are in the engineering bay. There is this boost of speed. Shade, almost as your mind thinks to accelerate and your hand touches, the ship begins to go almost on its own accord.
I'm going.
And you just take off. What was your check?
Do I also get a +4? Isn't it 2 checks per day?
Yeah, it's 3, so pretty much everyone
Great.
can get
Per,
it
per round. I
per
believe.
round. Yeah,
great.
per starship round.
26 plus 4 is 30.
Very nice. And so you benefit from Gibbs's speed as well, as there is a mystic boost to your current.
I don't even.
You
Mine looks like a little fart
explode
cloud in the face
out
of
of
this
this
guy.
place with the engines finally going on for the first time. As this creature emerges and swallows the comet whole, that's all you need to see. You just kick the
11,
thrusters
12,
on
13.
and
14.
explode out of the
I
ship.
had
pressed
a
them!
thing. I had a thing that
Give me
would have
past
made it so that I could
Bitch,
get
we better.
there, but I don't have to use it
But
now.
the team.
And for all of
Right,
you,
and I get to hold on to the cool thing.
as a team, you make your way through the Devil's Freeway and out safely to the other side.
Skid right out
And,
of it.
in fact, yeah, just right in front of Team 1.
Yeah, in front of Team 1!
We're all flipping them off.
There's no windows, but
Yeah.
we're just like.
Go fuck
quick.
yourself.
Moon them!
Gibbs just
Chicks against the
does.
window now!
It's a
Captain's orders!
it's
Everyone
a-
put those asses up!
it's a minor crew action.
Nice. Gibbs does it.
So,
As well.
for all of you, you have made your way to the other side. You can see Team 1 just a little bit off in front of you. But their visibility here is not great. As you come to the other side of the swirling eddy, you can see this huge creature, the glowing green from within its gullet, just into the side of the drift as it just falls away, almost like a whale kind of diving back into the ocean. The visibility here is quite poor. It's almost like there is drift fog here. And from the viewports, you can see like there is just this like smoke. And for a moment, you're maybe not sure, did Mosaic Team 1 take damage? But they're moving along just fine. But even your scanner is not doing great here. Your scanner visibility gets a little bit lower and a little bit lower, and eventually, through the wisps, you can visually see Mosaic Team 1, but you can't see them on your scanners.
Can we put our shields back up?
Yeah, shield's up now that we're out.
Okay. Shields go back up. You can hear humming through the metal.
Is this like Mystic Haze, or is this like a ecological phenomenon?
Make a mysticism check.
Cool.
Once we're out of the...
Another
next one.
20.
No way!
I kid you fucking not, it's right
So
fucking here.
good. Welcome back.
Yeah, that's mysticism, so it's a bazillion.
Around the areas where these kind of phenomenon occur, there are oftentimes the kind of like off-gassing of what makes this interstitial cloud, and it's not damaging because it's no longer part of the drift. It is just kind of junk. It is just ions. It is flammable, and so something to think about. But the really important thing about this is it symbolizes a place usually where the drift kind of splits up. And as you're kind of flying around, you see Mosaic Team 1, and then you don't.
Hey, this symbolizes a place that the drift sort of splits up. It's a bifurcation of the drift.
Okay.
Like, you know when there's rivers?
Bifurcation.
That's the one.
Is this something that like makes sense given what we just went through? Presumably there's some effect on the space just
Right, and that's what
after
you're
that's-
seeing right now. Yeah, you're
like,
seeing really bad
repair.
visibility. There's electromagnetic kind of storm that is causing a problem with your scanners.
Kind of like almost a wormhole, and we're at the other end where it's now like kind of releasing detritus in a way that kind of creates this.
So when I think about the drift, the way that the drift really works is sort of the edges of the drift are like an event horizon.
Okay.
In order to make things work and faster than light travel, you really do need to think about like
Something
how do
that's
we
gonna
bend
have
things
that.
in multiple
Yeah.
dimensions, not
Right.
just like 3, but
Right.
really 5.
Yeah.
And then, so when you think about it like that, you're not wrong necessarily. It's not a black hole, so it's not an event
Kind of
horizon.
like
The wrinkle in time thing, yeah.
like getting from here to here is
It's technically called a gravity well.
Right.
Yeah, that's what you're kind of seeing here, and it is forming a place where the drift splits in two. There are different kind of, and probably more than two, but you see two major sort of pathways that you can go along. But you cannot see Mosaic Team 1.
Did we see which way they went?
You did not.
Bubs will come back to the cockpit. Guys, are we all set? Are we almost there?
Well, it's gassy out.
What given
it's
the
gassy
two
in.
trajectories that are possible, is there any indication of like one having more variance within that one major channel? Like, does it split off into a bajillion that's gonna fuck us versus the one that's like still a pretty straight shot?
I was gonna say, yeah, can Echo
Or-
like help with like sensor
Yeah,
trajectory?
trying to
certainly
basically
do.
like
Make a scanning
figure out
check.
which one is gonna
Try
be
using
the
the
better option.
I forget what it's called.
Manual
already.
realignment.
Manual realignment.
Nice.
Thank you.
Computers check is 20 dirty 30 plus whatever you've got.
Athletics or acrobatics, so that's 34.
So that beats it.
And then it
which
gives
is the
you an
plus
additional
5.
5.
So 35 total.
35 total. That is a meets it, beats it.
Nice.
Oh, nice job, team.
You guys are great.
Off and to the left, the path is much cleaner.
Nice.
It is much smoother, kind of tube, much like many of the drift channels. This would probably be a really unremarkable journey. Off to the right, you can barely get your sensors, even with that check, to be able to pick up where it begins to fray and become thousands of just eddies and brooks and streams within the drift, where they would pull you in because as it gets narrower from this wider space, it channels into almost like a Venturi effect, and would sort of force you to, once you start, it would be really hard to redirect your ship until you get to the end of that smaller channel. And so you would probably want to go to the left. You get the sense that probably Mosaic Team 1 went to the left.
Cool. Well, fuck them. Let's go right.
Yeah. fuck
Yeah!
We're going to the dinosaur planet.
You know what? Fuck it.
We become lost in space.
Nothing like team bonding, like hating somebody else.
I'm gonna go ahead and not go right.
Okay. You turn your ship, you move off into the port side of this area, and as you make your way, 10 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by, a whole hour goes by. It's still kind of foggy, but Shade, with your scanners, you feel pretty confident in your decision, and right around the hour mark, these whiffs of clouds begin to drift away, and you get the radio contact at the very end of Mosaic Team 1.
Nice.
Oh, I thought we shook him.
But all of you now have only 2 days left on your journey to the Veskarium, and because it is 7:50 and a good place for us to take a quick break, we're going to step away for just a moment. There'll be a countdown on your screen, and we will be back at the end of it.
Pew.
Sorry, I'm wasting
And we're back.
over here.
Thank you for joining us, or for sticking with us through the break if you did. If not, we are playing Starfinder, and all of you have escaped a drift colossus. You have made your way to a safer region within the drift, and there's only 2 days that you have until you emerge into the Veskarium. So, Mosaic Team 5. With only 48 hours to go, is there any tasks that you want to accomplish before the mission ahead?
Yeah. I want to look through the map and basically get the entire layout of the Vesk ship completely memorized top to bottom so that when we're there, if there's any contingencies, I'll know where to go. Basically, like, keep that map, do a full scan of it so that I have, like, the layout of the ship and...
So you take a picture with your scanner.
and then, yeah.
Okay, easy to do. I mean, you have, like a virtual copy, so you can pull that up. And you being an Android, it's memorizing's pretty easy.
I guess so.
You look at it and click.
And I just sit there for 2 days. No, I have to think what the best course of action is to prepare for whatever's going to go on.
It's only 6 seconds to take the picture, but 47 hours of, like, which filter? Cat ears. Anybody else, other things that they want to do?
Guys, we should do team training. So that way when we show up, Gibbs actually has food in her mouth, so does Ariana. But that way when we show up, we'll be better than Team 1.
Oh, yeah, first off, we're already better than them.
Right.
So, like, I don't, like, think that that's even a comparison, but, like, I totally think we should definitely, like, show off and, like, just dog on them, you know?
Okay. And then what Gibbs does is makes an obstacle course in the ship of all of the, like, furniture and stuff. And then if we just run through this, like, obstacle course and, like, help each other through, like, oh, the floor is lava in this section, and then, like, you, like, pull a rope and, like, pillows fall, and it's, like, tumbling rocks.
Bubs will assist with this.
Yeah.
Bubs will help move, like, the rutabaga furniture and the carrot furnitures, and I think I'll help assist with this.
Legends of the Director Temple is what we're creating here. Cool. So the two of you, you say, we should do team training, and with no input from the rest of the team, you set about making an obstacle course. For you, Shade, it's not terribly distracting. You're piloting, you're doing things with the ship.
I don't want anything to do with
But
this.
for you, Echo, as you try to move about the ship, like, things are going missing, all of the pillows are gone, all the sheets are off the bed.
The second they start taking, like, boarding equipment and like the lines and whatnot, Echo's just like, no, and then pulls it back. It's like, no.
I'll also try to round Squeak up. Maybe Squeak can chase us or something like that.
Good luck getting Squeak out of the cockpit.
All you need is food to motivate dogs.
Not
So
Squeak.
you go
Squeak
over
is
to
well
Squeak, and
trained.
Squeak is just kind of sitting there. They're in the co-pilot seat. Shade is, I believe, in the probably engineering bay, kind of doing the actual blueprint part.
I think I would still be in the cockpit.
Okay, no
'cause
problem.
I've got a pilot still.
How are you getting Squeak out of there?
Well, I'll just enter first before I do that. Hey, Shade. Good job with all that craziness back there.
It was with assistance from the rest of the crew.
Yeah. Me and Gibbs are just, we're gonna, like, try to get on our toes and, like, be ready for the mission happening, so we're just gonna do some training.
I would suggest looking over all of the dossiers on our potential targets as well.
Yeah. No, totally. I think that's a great idea. I think, well, look, Shit, I think the money is really worth it, but I really just want to find Miles.
We will find Miles. We will find everyone else as well. We know where they are.
I know. I'm just trying to stay afloat here, my head above the water, and I'm in a good mood now. So I'm gonna just go train with Gibbs and try to at least ride this momentum I got.
Bubbles.
Yeah.
As we enter a very dangerous situation, I must ask, as your captain, are you prepared to work with Spice?
I mean,
you cannot allow your emotions to cloud your judgment.
Bubbles, you flash back to just days before speaking with Javier. Javier saying that he's planning on accepting this invitation to Spice's bedroom, and then you saying that you would kill him. And there's maybe some truth to what Jade is saying.
Look, Jade, I think everything's gonna be fine, okay? I'll do my best.
I spoke with Spice. She is still volatile, which is why I ask you.
Look, I don't know what to tell you, Shade. You know, you're my captain, and I have to follow whatever you say in terms of, ship commands and all that, but you know what?
I am not commanding you anything. I am asking you a question.
It won't be a problem, Captain. And Bubs will just leave.
Okay.
That's squeak.
Wait, don't step there! That one's got spike traps on it!
Oh, yeah,
Obviously!
Oh, sorry,
You take your foot off the hairbrush.
Bubs, totally forgot, so, he had all this, momentum, and he's just oh, yeah. Yeah, we can still do this. How are we gonna do this, Gibbs?
Okay. So, you start here, and then spike traps, lava pit, dark, scary tunnel, falling rocks, and then you have to grab somebody and I've put the little dossiers on pillows, and then you just have to grab somebody, and then you have to do it all in reverse and backwards.
Oh, okay. Are we timed?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, okay, Bubs is gonna start doing some stretches.
Okay.
Do we get electronic copies of these dossiers as well? Do we?
So you had electronic copies, and then Gibbs evidently went and printed them.
Okay, just want to make sure that Echo doesn't have to now do the obstacle course in order to get the information they were going to.
I was thinking iPads just taped to pillows, gives us lack of respect for anything. But yeah. Okay, ready?
Yeah, okay.
And go!
So I imagine Bubs starts this off. I imagine as I do this, there's probably a couple furnitures that I gotta jump between. I jump from the rutabaga to the carrot to the piece of corn kernel, and I'm kind of balancing myself in the corn kernel. It's not super steady, It's one of those end pieces that's not super perfectly spherical. And from there, I'm kind of losing my balance, and can I make a check to see if I
Yeah, you can. Make a reflex saving throw.
That's an 18.
An 18 with an 18.
Plus
You can feel your
8.
ankle beginning to twist
26.
and turn, but here in an obstacle course, you've done more difficult things in real life. You just leap off from that. You sail over the lava pit, and you're on the other side. No problem.
You guys injured
as
yourselves.
I get on the other side, I kind of just give a look to Gibbs. How am I doing, Gibbs? Am I still doing good?
You got it, Rockstar.
Okay. And Bubs he looks ahead and he sees that it's not like monkey bars, but it's kind of I have to use the wall and ceiling to get you across the next objective.
Yeah, sure. You can see Gibbs is drawn with very permanent marker on the walls. These circles for you to use to kind of put your hands and arms. So you have to really walk using the walls. Go ahead and make an athletics check to get down that. You can see just on the other side, pillows with dossiers, your targets waiting to be retrieved. And if you can make it there, Bubbles, you can probably do this.
Okay. I just remember the pillows are lava. I'll die if I touch the pillows. 11 plus reflex? Or what?
It's an athletics check.
11 plus 3.
And with a woe from Talon, you go and you
sprain your ankle.
take a couple of footsteps backwards, you get ready and you run, you get going really fast, you feel good about this, and at the last second your foot just touches the corner of a pillow, and when you try to push off that, the pillow right behind you, and you go nowhere and fall flat on your face.
Straight into the lava.
Boom, straight down. Bubbles, you feel the kind of warmth come out of your nose. You have a bloody nose now.
That didn't hurt as bad, but I don't know, maybe I'm just getting so used to pain, but that.
Echo's passing through with a bunch of supplies in their arms, and they're just This is an obstacle course made out of pillows.
Your turn next.
How are you bleeding?
You should have saw the maneuver I did. You know, it was pretty hard. But you know, you get points for style in the end. Gibbs, what did I get for style?
You got a million.
Oh.
A whole million points.
Okay, does that factor into my final results?
Absolutely.
Okay, what did I get?
A plus.
A plus.
Passing colors.
Oh my god.
Except, well, you didn't actually rescue anyone, but you survived, and maybe that's important too.
Bub thinks that he should have asked about rescuing someone.
Yeah. Especially when Gibbs had it as the instructions. But
I mean, I didn't even get past the obstacle course.
you didn't. No.
died on the way.
I couldn't even
But
get
you
to it.
survived.
Yeah.
And ultimately surviving, you see,
Survive
like,
or die.
no joke, 10, 11 pillows. Like, it's a devastating field, and you survived. So that's something. But you create an obstacle course, Bubbles runs through it. You see Echo just kind of walking away. Shade's piloting right now. Squeak, is not making eye contact with you. But
What'd you do to him? Oh. I thought you went to Echo specifically.
No,
Squeak was making eye contact with you. I was like, what'd you do?
Squeak is not trying to get involved in
Right,
this.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
But no problem.
It's got
You
like the corgi thing where
do
he's
a little
just,
bit of team practice, and that maybe will help you.
Cool.
We'll see. If there is a pillow lava field, you guys are good to go. And pillow lava is a real thing. It's not like what you think it is.
Are we able to repair the ship now? Or is
Yes.
it still,
So this is an excellent time to do that.
Okay, cool.
So, Echo,
Figured that's what you were doing too.
make an engineering check.
I would help if necessary.
if it speeds it up, sure.
Can I go on autopilot for a bit to
For now, at least, yeah.
Yeah, while we're in this safe area,
Yeah.
I'm gonna help. With
Go
the
ahead and
engineering.
both of you make an engineering check.
30.
Okay.
I think that's cocked. Alright. That's 30. 31.
31. Echo, over the first day, you spend time mostly in the engineering bay. Like, a lot of it is really just cleaning out smoke, because the smoke gets into components, and then that can cause shorts, and there's all kinds of problems that can happen from that. And once you get rid of the smoke, there's not a lot of system damage. There is some physical damage that happened to some of the thruster mechanisms that are required for fine tuning. Things like landing approaches would be really important. And so you heal 10 points of health back to this craft.
Yay.
With a 31, you heal 11 points back.
Only 5
And,
points off from our fool.
you got really close. But you are able to, over the course of the first day, very quickly make repairs to your ship. You get the sense that you are functionally back to full health. You just have a couple hit points missing, but you can do all the maneuvers that you would need to do. There is 24 hours left on your journey. You know that you will be emerging into the Veskarium. You're not 100% sure where. And none of you have been to the Veskarium before. But is there anything that you want to do for your last day to prepare?
Echo has 3 tasks.
Okay.
1, double check all of the boarding equipment and make sure it's all secure and easily accessible in different locations.
Okay, easy enough. You had already done this when you were making sure that Bubbles and Gibbs did not take it, so no problem.
Echo hid it.
Yeah.
No, Echo's unhiding it.
Okay, fair enough. So you put it back.
And then the long-term one is Echo wants to really study all of the dossiers and memorize all of the visuals
Okay.
of who we're looking for. That way Echo can just kind of look at someone and be like, no, yes,
Yeah, the fucking beep, 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 bing.
target acquired.
Or make an intelligence check.
I would also like to do that, if possible.
Separately make an intelligence check because they're not linked in any way.
Yeah, I'm hoping you do well because I've been rolling like garbage. That is grand total of 8.
Bunch of filthy fucking humans.
So many humans.
A lot of humans, actually, and for what it's worth, it's a disproportionate number of humans considering this is a Veskarium ship. But aside from that, you maybe could pick 1 or 2 of them out.
Echo knows that humans kind of look like bubs. They have anywhere between 2 and 12 limbs. They've got, like, sometimes they come with 3 eyes, sometimes they come with 8. Scales are an optional feature.
Yeah.
And just, like, going through the list.
A lot of things.
Is it just flat intelligence check?
Flat intelligence.
That's a 18.
Okay. You feel like you will probably have a +4 conditional modifier for recalling those faces in the future. You study them a little bit.
And then the last one is, as, like, we make our approach, Echo wants to use the echolocator.
Okay.
That's, like, during the last hour.
Okay.
I have one thing I want to do as well, but I'll let Echo do her thing first.
Oh, can I take 20 to do this, or is that, like, me taking 20?
That it is kind of you taking
Okay.
20 because it's not really like a take 20 task. Memorizing 24 faces is a challenging thing to do.
Yeah. Echo just makes a file.
Yeah, and like that's also a very practical solution.
This is a shot in the dark. Bubs is going to try to look up anything he can about the absolute compass and how it works, and see if it's based on like DNA or anything. I know it's the last object someone had. If it's like any.
So you don't really, I mean, you can kind of just like infosphere search it, and
Yeah.
you don't need to make a check for that. This is something that you do need. It is termed as a small sample of the creature. Hair,
Okay.
scales,
So
drop of
that's-
blood,
so
and
my-
that would speak to DNA.
My question is, so this is how it's complicated.
Okay.
So Miles is my twin. So if I have exactly the same DNA as him, could I use my own DNA?
You don't have exactly the same
Okay,
DNA
it doesn't have
as
the
your
same.
twin.
Okay.
A genetic, so I like where your head's
Yeah.
at. Give me 1 second here.
I don't know the exact science of that, so this is a shot in the dark.
So the way that this is termed, like you would need something not just like so like the absolute compass, the way that it works, it is specifically towards the creature regardless of distance. So it doesn't speak to like genetic matches to the
Okay.
creature. I think what you're speaking to would be if you were comparing 2 results, you would be able to use that. But this is just taking 1 sample.
Okay.
But I do like where your head's
Yeah,
at.
it was
It's
worth a shot.
It's a cool idea. Very cool idea. If only you had some
like
way to
that.
magically locate people. But you do some research on the absolute compass. Echo, you want to use the echolocator as you make your approach.
Yes.
Okay. What are you looking for?
Echo's looking for the Echo unit that they saw on the Vesk ship, which was told was 899.
Yeah. So you interact with the echolocator, and as you touch it and you kind of tell, you just slam this crystal into your eyes, critical damage, blinded. You can kind of move through this crystalline structure and search point by point many echoes that you don't know. There are some nodes that are dull, you can't access them, and you don't know what that means. They're not dead, they're just maybe inactive or asleep perhaps. But then you get to a place where there is the very familiar sort of signature of 899. And as you look, there is a place where they are vaguely close to the planet Vesk 3. I would say, I don't think the echolocator actually gives you the exact like distance to a planet, but you can see
I thought
that
it gave me the exact coordinates.
it does give you the exact coordinates, but the planet is not on the echolocator.
Right.
You have the vague kind of astrological sense to know that. I would say you do also note that there are 11 echo units total on this, 7 of which come from your badge.
Nice.
Echo makes note of the coordinates. And how many times can Echo use an echolocator in a day?
I believe just once.
Just once.
Yes.
Oh, like how far can they get in an hour?
Especially if they're in cells, you know.
It would be tough. Although you are quite fast, you know you can get pretty far in an hour.
I think I would want to research the different ships that we know are going to be part of this fleet. Because we know about the Dragon Scream fighters
Sure.
and the warship itself, because we have the blueprint, but also so looking through like if there's any war salvage research to see like what kind of weaknesses there are to the ships and anything that would help during, like, if we're potentially going to have to sabotage from the inside?
I would say make an engineering check. And specifically, you're talking about the Vesk prison barge.
The Vesk prison barge, but also the detachment of fighter ships, the Dragon Scream fighters.
Okay.
Because if we're gonna be boarding, our ship's gonna be pretty vulnerable to being attacked. So I want to make sure that that's. We have another day before, so if I use my reroll,
You're on your last day right here.
Okay.
Oh no, you have your reroll. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna use my reroll.
Okay.
That's a good use of a reroll.
Let's see. You set yourself for a high DC.
Because that's a 43.
You exceed it by 1. By searching for both the prison barge and the Dragon Scream, that increased the DC pretty significantly. But the prison barge, when you talk about weaknesses is a relative term. There is not like the biggest weakness that you hear about from this craft, and it's called in Vesk. Well, in common, it's translated to a Vesk soul cage. They have incredibly poor maneuverability. They're this huge hulking thing that usually carries something close to 200 souls, including crew, and so like the mass is tremendous. It's kind of a hard thing to turn. You also know that it is likely deadly to be anywhere in front of this craft. It has a capital weapon that is really designed to take out space stations, decimate cities. The Star Spear rail launcher is specifically actually it's called an orbital weapon. And so from orbit, it can be used to literally just purge continents. And so your ship being struck by that would be pretty significant. Significant. You would get the sense that when you look at the blueprints, you've already identified good targets that would be, you might consider weaknesses. Aside from that, there's a lot of there are many airlocks that are built in that can be compartmentalized. Every section seems almost like you can break it away from the rest of the ship and kind of section it off into almost like ninths on each deck. And then even more than that, you do get the sense that there is even a secondary and tertiary point from which you can control the whole craft. So it has redundancy built in pretty heavily. And with all this, you do realize that the Veskarium military organization, their prison system, the police, the military, it's all one organization. And so raiding this prison barge means you are raiding a Vesk military ship. When you talk about the Dragon Scream fighters, or I believe they're actually technically bombers. Right. Oh, thank you, Festus. Okay, so in Vesk, they are called the Hashovarks. That means Dragon Scream. They are pretty average in terms of maneuverability, but they're quick. They're quite quick, and they use something that is called a slow burn missile launcher. These, when they strike and pierce your shields, they actually cause fire damage that will continue to smolder away within your systems. They're pretty devastating, and they can have, when they start doing critical damage, they can ignite the oxygen within your systems, and that can be pretty deadly as well, depending on who you are. The biggest thing about these things that would be a weakness, if they are forced to rely on their rotary cannon. The rotary cannon on these craft are designed for ships a size larger than them, and so though they do pack a punch, it causes the entire ship to spin. The entire craft will have to basically engage in a barrel roll, a very tight barrel roll, in order to fire the rotary cannon, and will do so the entire time it fires. There are stories of these craft trying to fight in atmosphere, and they just tear themselves apart. It's a design flaw. And that's what you find.
Cool. So force them into a barrel roll maneuver that fucks them up.
If they're in the
if
atmosphere.
they're trying to fire that.
Yeah. Anything else? Yes.
Could I cast some spells and sleep?
Yeah.
Cool. I'd like to make 2 spell crystals.
Sure.
One is going to be Mystic Cure at level 4.
Okay.
And I'm using one of the enhanced effects to do that.
Which one?
The one that lets me bring people back to life.
Very nice.
Nice.
So go ahead. I think it's a mysticism check.
Hold on. I think if I can cast it, it's okay.
Oh, yeah, you just need the UPBs.
Uh-huh. Hold on. Spell gem. Only spellcaster can use it. To craft a spell gem, you have to know the spell. If the spell requires expensive materials part of casting it, you must provide those while casting it. And the gem's price is increased by the price of those components. You can create larger spells by doing it all in one. What is the cost?
The cost, it depends. So I know that like a level 1 spell gem off the top of my head is 140 UPB. Let me see if I can find a table.
Do we have UPBs?
Oh man, that's like asking that to break up his soul.
If not...
You know how many UPBs it costs to make the things that
I know. So I'm just asking.
I'll have to look up the exact cost, but it's pretty high
Alright.
as you get into the...
We can use the furniture as UPBs. Can
No.
Put it in the grinder.
We're not doing that. Can
That's
I...
like 6 UPBs.
Okay. Well, then I probably can only make
Especially
one
now with
spell
all
crystal.
cushions off.
A lot of them are stained already,
Oh, gross.
both sides.
So I'm seeing, what level is that spell?
So it's 4th is what I'm trying to do.
4th level. So 3rd level spell is 1,000 UPB.
Oh, okay.
And then a 4th level spell, I believe, is 1,500.
Great.
I will double check.
Great. Well, I have this Red Star plasma rifle that I don't use, so I just go up to the grinder and grind it all up, and that gives me 4,600. Well, I only get 10% or something? How much UPBs do I get?
You get 10%.
What's 10% of 4,000?
400.
That's how much.
That's how taxes work! Holy fuck!
Gibbs to save us taxes.
You know how much I've been saving up.
Gibbs is like, yay, I got this! And then just like sees the crumbs and is like, no, I don't got this.
Yo, I remember getting my very first paycheck. Yeah. It felt
Alright,
just like-
well, okay, so I do that one, and then I only need a little bit left. Let me find something else to shred.
Okay. As Gibbs
I-
runs around looking for things to shred up.
I shred some armor I got.
Okay. Where does that put you?
Hold on, I'm looking up how much it costs.
This is why I made the engineering bay.
I can assist Gibbs. I have some stuff I can get rid of too.
51. It must be the level 9 one. 13,500. What's 10% of that? 13,500.
135.
Oh, I just take a
It's
0
literally
off?
just divide it by 10.
So you're looking at a total cost of 3,700 UPB for this spell.
Great, this gives me enough, yeah?
1,350 for that
Yeah.
one.
1,350 plus 400.
You need like 1,000 more.
You're like, this will definitely be enough.
What are you trying to make?
And it's like several
level 4
hours that
spell
it grinds
crystals.
the UPB
Yeah.
down. But then you look and it's like still just a third of your container that you need to fill. And it's just, it's a little heartbreaking. And yeah, it really is like taxes.
I have some things I could help Gibbs with.
Nice. Then I take whatever my friends are going to give me, and I'm just going to write that I make the spell crystal, and if the math doesn't work, I will remove it from my
I
inventory.
have a silent machine gun pistol, level 4.
Alright.
I don't think Pete wants that back at this point.
You never gave that back?
I don't think we ever gave him back.
Roll flat
yeah, I
intelligence check,
did.
Bubbles.
Echo gave her-
Everybody but you have given yours back. Even Spice.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I still have it on my list. I don't know.
Make a flat intelligence check, Bubbles.
I don't remember if I did it or not. A natural 20.
You have this flashback. You're back on Aura's Bay. It's warm. You're sitting in this rented house, and Peep is pulling out this case, and he opens it up, and he says, "Now, guys, please don't lose these. They're really important. They belong to my team." And they begin taking them out, and like he remembers, like Peep lost parts of his team. These belong to them. They were hesitant to even give them to you, but a good persuasion or diplomacy check from Spice had allowed this to happen. Pete probably wants this back pretty badly.
Okay.
But you can grind it up.
I don't have to. I have other stuff. I have a needle rifle, level 5. Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
But with the natural 20, you're like, ooh, wait.
Yeah, I didn't.
No.
I didn't think we'd go into all that. Just a level.
You're gonna throw it away.
A level 5 needle rifle, which is 3,000,
So that gives me
300.
300.
and then a
I only need 700 more.
dirge pistol, which is 5,000,
500. So I need 200 more,
and I got a red plasma pistol.
which is 400 because that's the same thing I got rid
Nice.
There you go.
of. And we have 200 UPBs left over.
So that's one spell crystal.
Nice.
And you said you wanted to make another one.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Not anymore.
After that, you're like, wow, that was expensive.
That was expensive.
But you have a very nice spell crystal. It glows with the internal mechanism of this mystic spell.
Cool. It's
No
green.
I think at some point Echo goes to like the engineering bay because they want to like get a few of their things upgraded beforehand, and then
Gibbs
they
has just
go
got a
look
broom and
they're
is just
like,
I'm like holding Gibbs up
"Are we
while
kind of
she.
slow on UPBs?"
You're just like, you see armor just disappearing in and little UPBs falling out the bottom. Yeah.
just into different like cans, like people who collect rainwater. I've gotten all sorts of different jars I'm just putting underneath this mechanism, so I'm collecting all the crumbs of UPBs.
There's one 5-gallon Home Depot bucket. Somehow everybody still has one.
Echo Arrested Development style just like trudges back to there.
No problem. You're not getting the upgrades you want this time. Anything else that you all want to do before you arrive?
I have a question, Joe.
Yes.
I know I said an hour before, but I was under the impression that I could use it multiple times in a day.
Sure.
I want to use it now when we're all out of drift space.
Okay. So we'll say that you did the last one on that second day, and then you do one more as you're going through drift space.
Cool.
And as you are like nearing the end mark, and as you are like transitioning into real space, we'll do that in a second, actually.
Cool. Thank you. You
As
are
Bubs
wise
is
generous.
doing the grinder with Gibbs, Bubs is gonna ask, Gibbs, is there any chance you could use that spell you have to find people? Is there any way you could find out where Miles is on the ship?
Yeah, but I could once we're on the ship. But you need to tell me everything you know about Miles. I have to feel like I know them for it to work effectively.
Well, I love Miles, but I don't know. There's always this weird thing I've always felt. Hold on 1 second, I have to look something up. I'm, you know how it is with twins. I don't know if you ever read anything about, a twin connection or anything like that, but I always felt like Cindy was the first, and that was when they first tried to experiment with the Gaia mutagen. It's like a test, to see if it had anything. It had explosive results. That's why Cindy is, so fiery. And then it was me and Miles. I was second and Miles was third. And I feel like every time I look at the list I got from Jade Brunei about all the other 5 kids, I compare myself to him. I think of myself as the control, and Miles was the success. And I mean, yeah, it says minor improvement in muscle mass on my chart, but all the others, even Miles, it felt like I wasn't one of them. And yeah, Miles tried to include me and make sure I was part of the group, but I always felt like an inferior version of him, and I think he knew that.
I can't imagine anyone better than you, Bubs.
Bubs scratches his elbow. Thanks, Gibbs, but I don't know. I wonder how this is gonna play out. I think about Miles all the time, and I think, was it genetics that made it like this? Was I born the wrong twin? Maybe if I had better powers, then I could have saved him back then. Maybe if I was genetically superior, I would have been able to make sure he didn't end up with Maldros if I was stronger or better.
I don't know.
That sounds familiar to why I always felt like I wanted to get more powerful. But I think you've shown that even with Miles' power, he spent a lot of time and consideration into making sure you were cared for. And now it's your turn to repay the favor.
I just hope that it's not genetics then. If I can repay the favor, then I'm gonna have to repay it with fate and hope that fate will allow me to save him. Because my chart says I'm the inferior one.
No, you're not, because you're here and you're trying. And I believe that we're gonna succeed.
Bubs will take Spice's, Gibbs by the tail, and hold it.
But that's a lot about you. Tell me his favorite food.
Oh,
And tell me his favorite color. And then it just fades into like, kind of like the 20 questions when
Yeah.
you first date of like,
You pull out an old version of 17 magazine.
and is he a autumn or a fall? Or, oh wait, those are the same thing.
Is he also
and Bubs will answer these
bald?
questions and stuff like that, and we'll go back and forth. And
Is he covered in
Bubs will
hair?
start to feel a little bit better. Bubs' mood has been fluctuating, and he's not really found like a nice stable base. His energy feels very manicky after this whole Spice realizing issues with Javier and like, am I going to leave the team? Am I going to find Miles? All this is just feels like a wave that Bubs is riding, and he has no control of it. But this nice moment really kind of centers Bubs.
Make an insight check.
Sense
This is a motive check, sorry.
That's a
cocked as fuck.
3. Is that cocked? I think that's fine.
No, it's not cocked.
Is it the end of the day?
Moved off the list.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I use my rule?
Yeah,
and then
you
it'll
can.
okay. Let's stay out there.
Move that stuff.
That's a 9, a little bit better. And then what was it, Joe?
Sense motive.
Sense motive. I don't think I have anything. I have 5, so 14.
Okay. It's a nice moment.
Okay.
Anything else before you exit the drift?
You gonna use a spell?
Oh yeah, are you using the spell?
Oh, I have to be on the same body as them, which is what I explained to you.
Oh.
On the same planetary body as you, up to the size of a large planet, such as a gas giant. So
I'll just remind you when we get there.
yeah, when we get there, I'm going to use this spell like 6 times.
Word.
So just rapid fire, even if they don't work.
Yeah, no first level spells.
Did you have anything you wanted to do?
The time ticks down, and before too long, it reaches 0, and you emerge from the drift. The space that you arrive into is altogether different than what you're familiar with. As the drift clouds drop away, the single points of light are replaced by vast swatches, like dozens of stretches of the Milky Way as distant luminous clusters have unfurled around you in space. The Veskarium is nestled in a region between huge, star-rich clusters of space, and it's easier actually to see shapes against their light. It's harder to hide in the dark here in the Veskarium. And all at once, your ship begins to ever so slightly, so gently that it's almost impossible to notice, corkscrew as it just begins to rotate in place. In front of you, you can see general darkness. There is nothing on your immediate scanners. There is no sign of Rose Lashman, though Mosaic Team 1 just a little bit off and ahead of you. What are you doing?
Is the corkscrewing from like a shift in the gravitational?
Make an engineering check. You see a slight difference in the thrusters, and so it's purposeful from the director.
That's 41.
You've had the benefits of being in many places over the course of this campaign where you have been in asteroid fields. And while that's been dangerous for certain things, it also provides you protection from what is perhaps the greatest danger in space. In space, people imagine it for some reason to be very cold, and that's not the case. Heat happens through direct radiation, and so if you are in light and here, there is just these huge swatches of stars that are probably casting tremendous amounts of radiation. Just direct contact with that would be destructive. So the ship is now corkscrewing to evenly distribute the energy as it strikes. It's very slow, but it's something to factor into your thoughts as you move around.
I factor those into my thoughts
Nice.
as we move around the
Director's
Veskarium.
making sure we get an even tan.
Sort of, yeah.
Good time to pull out solar panels.
Part of it is to make sure that you're getting the even amount of light across the whole ship. The other part is the way that your ship's sort of heat radiation works. It helps to be able to move it because the longest point of your ship will be for the greatest duration possible within a solar shadow.
Yeah.
That
Surface
lets you,
area maximization of not being in this direct line of radiation.
And
I learned a lot of physics for this game. So, what are you all doing?
Did you guys decide while we were gone about
So,
the door thing?
You slam the echolocator into your
So,
eyes, Echo.
yes, we've chosen a
Oh, yeah,
port.
yeah.
I don't have the map, so
That's
I can't
fine.
show you, but it's one of the
Does Spice have it?
Why don't you
it's one of the pods because it's
Because Olive's got it in the
Yeah.
massive dossier.
the massive dossier one.
I bet.
So anyway, it's one of the ports.
Yeah.
It's a little.
Rose is going to
yeah.
create a diversion that draws fire away while we enter from the other area. And it's pretty close to both the security headquarters, or like one of the security terminals, and the prison area.
And you can also create a distraction as
It's
well.
in the
We were hoping
binder
that
somewhere.
multiple, because I know Rose last when I know there's anti-mages, not anti-mystics
Yeah,
on the
there's
ship. so-
anti-mystic defenses.
They might have
It-
counter
specifically, though, in the black cell blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the place that is most dangerous.
Which is
I found
mostly
it.
where we're going.
Thanks, Olive.
Hope you feel better. This is
There's
one,
more.
one of three.
You want to just grab all that?
All this.
Yeah.
It was like right
We're
here.
entering from the.
Are these
center
for this
area.
bounty?
Yeah.
Yes.
See,
Those
right
are
there.
all-
Just take,
It's-
yeah,
Yeah,
It
those
says
off,
MC5 enter here.
off the
Love
camera.
that
Nice.
shit. Sorry, here. Anyways,
Off the camera. Thank you.
Yeah, we figured out we were gonna do right here.
you go back.
So yeah, that is the blueprints of the ship, as you all have copies of. You can see this is the first deck, and then there's an upper deck as well that is one more piece of paper. That is where the kind of bridge is located, and really where more of the crew quarters are located.
Yeah. So basically, the plan is to use Rose. She's basically taking her cut of the profits, which we have already worked out,
I'm not worried about it.
and she's going to create
Just
a
a cool million
diversion.
creds.
Create a diversion and help us with safe boarding.
And what's the black cells?
Fuck off.
So there is a series of cell blocks that have isolation chambers
Okay.
and things like that, and the
They're like
team
high
had
profile,
specified to you this seems to be a place where they contain especially dangerous individuals. Perhaps individuals with
mystical power.
mystical properties, and there are likely, for that reason, anti-mystic defenses within the black cell
That's
blocks.
Azkaban.
Cool.
Yeah, kind of.
Defenses or anti-mystics themselves?
Who knows?
We don't know.
People who are racist against mystics.
I think you did use the word actual people, but I don't know.
Echo plugs the core in.
Okay. You
Thanks.
go ahead and you plug the core in, but you also are using the echolocator.
Yeah, that's what I mean
Gotcha.
by
Core.
plug it in.
You plug it in. And just as before, this cluster of echo units seems to be in the vague direction of Vesk 3. And as you look at the viewports, it is somewhere off and in the distance in the dark here. You can't see it yet. You would estimate, using the information from the echolocator, you're about 4 hours away. And so there's a little bit of a trip. You can make a plan to sort of approach. I would say make a flat intelligence check, actually, as you hold this in your mind.
Oh, I thought it was an 18. It's a 15 total.
15 total. With the cluster of nodes, you cannot possibly discern where they would be on the ship. You can't really tell where the ship is oriented relative to you now. It could be facing you, could be facing away, could be to the side, hard to tell. But you do know that it's about 4 hours in front of you. And you can see Mosaic Team 1 is slowly making their way at about half speed in that direction, keeping their thruster profile as low as possible.
Echo would ask Shade to maneuver the ship up close enough to Team 1 that we can get within like close comm range, so that
Yeah.
it's not like across a general
That
band.
is a smart move, yeah. You pull up alongside. And being very close, you can actually look through your viewports off into your port side, and you can see like a little bit into like parts of their ship.
Ooh, are they mooning us?
No.
Damn.
Stick those hams up.
All right. Straight up butt on the windshield.
Are you doing that?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Bubs won't, but he will in spirit.
Okay. In spirit, you.
I'll lift up Gibbs.
But yeah, Gibbs will do it jokingly, like hee hee hee.
Okay.
But hopefully they read it that way. I'm sure they
I
won't.
get a plus
Will
2.
not.
Yeah, we'll see.
Consummate professionals.
I'm like off of, I'm like holding Gibbs up, but like not in front of the glass.
Okay.
So it just looks like Gibbs is floating butt.
Okay.
Okay, wait. How's a dirty 20 take it?
You hold this like floating butt up, and with Gibbs in front of you, you can't see if they can see. Gibbs, your butt is the only thing in front of the window.
Yeah.
And so you don't get to see the reaction. If there is a reaction, you don't see it.
Okay,
Maybe you'll hear about it,
cool.
but no problem.
Fuck those
I
ass.
hop down.
You hop down.
Once like Gibbs is hopped down, there's just like a very disappointed Echo face left in the viewport. Like,
For an android to look disappointed is pretty tough, but you do it. No problem.
Techno knows.
Bubs is gonna look at the butt cheeks slipped on the windshield, and he thinks about cleaning it, but he still hasn't cleaned anything on the ship since he broke up with Spice. There's no
Okay.
desire.
You just leave booty
This place
prints
has been
right
getting-
on the window.
Yay!
Place is being more and more dirty since we turned off the robot and Bubs stopped cleaning.
You turned it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Echo turned it back on at some point.
Did we?
No.
No.
Echo did turn on the
Yeah.
cleaning drone.
I remember that.
Did
you?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was after the bowls of
Echo's-
soups.
Echo saw that it
Oh,
was
yeah.
blocked, and Echo was like, "No."
Yeah.
Okay.
Echo came back and this first thing she undid.
So is there anything that you want to do before you just take off in pursuit of this Veskcraft?
Type
Absolutely.
beam coordinates.
Okay, type beam coordinates. You kind of send these away.
Wait, are we gonna talk to the other ship, or did we really just pull up to moon them?
No.
No,
so
type beam
actually-
send
coordinates.
the coordinates
Oh, to
over.
them. I see it.
Comms open up, and you can see Javier on the other side. And they look through the screen at all of you, and they say, first of all, whose butt was in the window? Why?
It was a hello. We're here. How else would you know it was me? We could have been boarded by imposters when we went through that space tunnel.
I suppose you make a good point. As the envoy rolls a natural one.
Nice.
For his culture check, 'cause he's like, Yosokis.
What do I know of their culture?
Not much. So he just kind of nods, takes that in stride, and says, thank you for these coordinates. For these coordinates. These are accurate.
They are accurate currently.
Can you tell, is it alone?
Is the ship alone?
Yes.
I am not able to tell if the ship itself is alone.
The biggest danger that we all have within the Veskarium is patrols. The military will be patrolling, and it could make this fight much more complicated.
Judging from its proximity to Vesk 3, I do believe that is a likely possibility.
They nod, and they say, have you made a plan as to where you will board yet?
Here. Right here. Do you see? We wrote this little squiggle right there.
You hold up the data pad so it's just like a blank white screen across the comms.
Echo screen shares.
You enable screen sharing. You point right there. You point, and you're pointing into where?
Sorry.
Okay. MT5, enter here. So you set up a point right in the airlock that is between what looks like some kind of a classroom and a lounge.
Rose is gonna be there.
Yeah.
No problem.
There was a big group call.
They nod and they say,
Dinner.
it is good that you will be on the first floor. That will allow you to take much attention off us as we complete our task. What do you intend to do with your ally?
We're gonna communicate with her shortly, I think. If we can get a signal.
They should be right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, we.
They haven't
flashlight
appeared from
isn't
the drift
here.
yet.
Oh.
Gibbs, can you roll a D100?
Oh,
Oh no.
did we just send Rose Lashwin? to
Rose
the
Lashwin left her keys in the car.
37.
death? Oh no!
Can you roll a D4, please?
Oh no!
Which direction? How many days
2.
late?
And her battery's dead.
2 days late.
Give me 1 second here. Gotta record something.
Oh boy.
And she left her up and on.
2 days later.
Did you like Rose's left or right side more? No, I'm kidding.
Which
can
was
just
her
regrow
best
it.
feature.
Her cool petal face.
Why would you say
just
that?
charred now. Charred ash.
I made this spell crystal for her.
Plucked. All the petals were plucked.
But
She loved you not.
Javier kind of nods and says, well, we should get going then. And they puncture the communication and they continue to move. You move in like roughly same direction, same speed. And so like if you want, you can like look out the window and wave to them, but you make your way further and further.
What did
into
their
this
ship
area.
look like?
Their ship is called the
Starwalker.
Starwalker. Their ship is a medium-sized ship, a little bit shorter than yours, but a little bit more round. It only has one deck. They don't have like a cargo hold the same way that you do. It's probably integrated into the main design. And as you look at it, you can see it has a couple of features that are unique compared to yours. Just 1 second here. Oh, no, that's the Solar Wind Song. Give me 1 second. The Starwalker. Okay. When you look at this ship, you can see there are a number of systems that are unlike your own. You can see that the shield generator significantly heavier than the one that you have on your craft. You can see the defenses probably a little bit more shored up. Similar to you, they have a cargo hold, but it's integrated into the center. And you see what look like these small points that would hint at like maybe gravity generators or something, 5 of them that are attached to the cargo hold. You can see a long, complex sort of mechanism across the top of the back that is almost like a spinal mount. And on this, you can see there is a heavier weapon that has been mounted to it, some kind of a particle beam. You can see there's a fuel synthesizer that is attached to the back, and so this, they don't pay for fuel, they just make it. Over the course of time, they can use momentum to kind of regenerate that. And I would say that's most of what you see.
Does Javier have a pair of fuzzy dice on his rearview mirror?
So Javier isn't flying.
Who's
As
flying?
it turns out, Techno is behind
Techno.
you.
Techno.
And
Does
so you
Techno
can see
have
Waldo is in the cockpit on the co-pilot seat, and then Techno is the one that is flying. Techno just has a sleek metal face, no expression, no eyes, no mouth, nothing. They're an android, and you had seen previously they like project emoticons out. They're just dead set ahead, no real kind of like humor there. But every now and then Waldo just turns and kind of looks at you and then just like turns back.
But no dice?
No dice.
No dice.
No dice. You continue forward. The first hour passes. Is there anything that you guys are doing before you reach the area where you're going to visualize the ship?
I'm going to set my bounty hunter theme as
I was thinking your theme song.
yes, the Bubs theme song.
It's
Bubs
much
has a
like
whole
picking a
playlist
playlist,
now.
yeah.
Bubs did in canon listen to that during the garden. I am going to look up Captain Varaz.
Okay.
And I'm going to do this by going through the bounty forms like I usually do.
No, that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah, and I'm going to look in like mostly past forms. I think any cached sites, Wayback Machine kind of stuff. Because Bubs knows that it's like the Vesk Wars, so he has to look more in the past.
They're going back into the past a little ways. You're looking. So, yeah, make a cultures check using your bounty hunter feature.
Can I do my profession?
Yeah,
instead?
sorry, your profession. I always forget that gives you the profession.
Actually, they're almost the same now. Jesus, profession's only one more better. Ooh, that's a net one.
So, as a reminder, the day has changed. If you really wanted to, you could use your.
All right, Joe.
right
Okay,
now.
all right.
Well, but
This
that's
is
the
the
best
one that you-
day.
19.
This is the best
For a
day.
total of what?
Plus 12. So that is
31.
31.
Disappointed in you.
Yeah, same.
Using
You
the
search
reroll
Captain
first.
Vloraz
and a-
on the infosphere,
Info
and images
good
pop
one.
up first. You see
surviving's good too.
a much younger, two-eyed version of Shade standing next to a drow captain who is labeled as Captain Vloraz. but this picture dated back to 2224 seems to be a drow merchant captain. They're actually listed as the Freedom Merchant Captain of Loraz. And as you start to cycle through, there are a couple pictures of them and a human shade together. There is a period of time where they served as a merchant captain, but really, as you go through the bounty forms, they were pirates. And they stole a number of things. And then in 2225, this individual, and I would say with that check, you also get that they are vehemently anti-human. And so the fact that they would ally themselves with Shade is very unusual, especially as Shade appears to perhaps be human in this. He has 2 eyes.
Yeah.
But you note that over the course of time, as these things sort of pass, Vloraz served as sort of a mentor for a very young Shade. They were a spectacular pilot in and of themselves, but as part of their sort of like aging process, not able to keep up with like fighter craft in the way that they had. And so there are videos of them flying with Shade in what are called the chemtracks of Aphrodite in Mars. There are, along the urban sprawl, these sort of chemical raceways that people use hovercrafts on. And there are, documentations of them doing that together. This individual is most prominently known for, in 2230, beginning to help fly and armor the Skittermander resistance within the Veskarium. And there is recordings of them doing all kinds of things relating to the Veskarium, relating to raiding GPF-allied starship companies. And then they kind of just disappear, having seemed to disappear after an attempt at a raid on a Vesk ammunition depot.
Bubs thinks about this, and he looks at this. He thinks about... And he looks at Shade as a younger person. And he sees the mentor-mentee relationship, and in a way he sees himself. And then he thinks about where Shade is now. He's gonna be on a team going right up against him.
Yeah.
And he thinks, yeah, it's a relationship where someone teaches you something. That's important, but in the end of the day, he's just a person. And what is Shade to Bubs but just a person? And maybe Bubs is building up the idea of a captainship a bit much. He thinks about just... If Shade's not going to tell... If Shade's going to basically wonder if Bubs is going to be suitable for this mission, based on like information that he might not want to share, maybe Bubs will do the same to Shade, because he's just a person, not the captain.
Sure. You hold this information in, at least for now.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Can I ask the director an echo? I wanna send a message to Rose Lashman, but like sometimes when we're in these places, like, people can like detect text messages and stuff. Could you help me like send a encrypted message?
I have not been able to work that out myself.
Director?
The director will say, "There is no way to do this with high confidence. However, we could make an attempt. As Rose Lashwind is within the drift, probability sinks a further 12%. Chances of success are approximately 25%.
That is 75% chance of it either not making it or being overheard.
Correction. There is a 75% chance of interception."
There we go.
Jesus Christ.
75% chance of it being overheard.
So we just have to make sure it's something that's not so incriminating, right? Like, didn't you guys send advert postcards or something? Text messages? We just have to find something that Rose would know, right?
We are in Vesk space. It would need to be along the lines of Vesk culture.
Well, I speak Vesk.
I also speak Vesk.
I also speak Vesk.
That does not mean I understand their culture with perfect clarity.
You know, everyone likes memes. We'll just put some dragon, some Vesk faces, and we'll find a Vesk pirate.
Starfinder Enigma code is just fucking memes. I love that.
And we'll just find one that says, "Are you there yet?" And so Gibbs is gonna Google Infosphere search
Sure.
Vesk memes that say, "Are you there yet?"
Mega cultures check. You speak Vesk, and so there's no
help me?
penalty to this
Will
check.
you help me?
You want Echo to help
Yeah,
with
what?
the cultures?
Yes, help me.
Well, Echo probably can't provide help in the cultures check, but might be able to help
Echo
with a
know
message.
Cool.
Could you?
8 plus 16 is 24? 34?
So you find
34?
18 plus 16?
8 plus 16.
Oh, no, 24.
24!
24. 24, all the rage with the Vesk memes these days is a dancing egg gif. It's like a computer generated like egg, and it just slowly kind of dances and goes around. It's a little creepy for some reason, but it just does that. And Vesk just email this to each other. They're like, "Oh, look at this, isn't it great?" And they send it to each other, and like it doesn't make a ton of sense. Like, in your opinion, memes have really evolved from here. This seems now this must be right. This is an absolutely up-to-date Vesk meme.
Cool. Gibbs is gonna send it to Rose.
Wait. Does that just happen?
It depends. Is there any more to that statement?
Is there more to that statement?
Can I embed the "Are ye there yet" part to it? Can I give it a text box?
So when you say embed, there's two meanings to the word embed. The first meaning is like I Photoshop added onto the bottom. The second is like I subtly manipulate the code to have it hidden within. Is that what you mean?
Is that what you mean?
Yes, I'm like trying to help.
Do you
I'm
want to
like,
try that?
No.
Okay.
Echo. God, two's a fucking egg.
Where is this happening?
This is in quarters.
Is Shade anywhere around to
No.
know any of this? is happening?
You specified
Oh my God.
cockpit.
I think we were just having the same.
look, I found this egg. It looks so popular. I found it on Vest forums. They just keep sending it back and forth to each other.
Echo's making bad decisions, apparently. Echo looks at the message
There's a 25% chance of it winning.
and is... Just to remind you, I did not attempt to contact my family because of similar circumstances. Do you still feel that this is wise?
See, here's the thing about it. I feel like you're gonna be too good, and Rose is just gonna get a picture of an egg, and she's gonna be like, "Fuck's this," you know? So like, but I don't know how to send it. So I don't know. I feel like maybe this is a horrible idea. But do we just take the risk that she's gonna be there all by herself and alone in space and not supporting us, and we're not supporting her? So how can we make this work?
This is like little Gibbs grabbing onto your jumpsuit, just like, please,
You're gonna
Echo.
be too good.
Don't you have that nightmare? When you do that nightmare?
I got rid of that spell
that would've
because
been
I
so
used
good.
it against a person I liked, and it was Gibbs' dark side coming out.
Echo attempts to encode not the coordinates of the ship, but
Okay.
like just like basically in like a little like image beneath the image type thing. The the lacrosse side, and there it is.
Yeah.
With love from Vesk 3.
Okay.
In
This is the kind of thing where like you are hoping that Rose has a monitor similar to your own. Like you really need to be able to like just look at it
oh
from
no,
a
it's
certain-
not like visually like
Okay,
that. I
okay.
mean like the code
Gotcha,
version
gotcha,
of
okay.
like with the schematics for the ship, and Echo
I got
saw
you.
that. Yes, that. So Echo's seen this type of like encoding before.
Absolutely. So you kind of move this into the actual programming for this image. And first of all, when you're doing this for free, you see this is a stale meme. This is
It's so still.
So have you ever heard of the dancing baby gif?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what this
yeah,
is,
yeah.
but for the vest. So
Yep.
this is like 30 years out of date. This was, so this is like most vests will look at this and be like, what the fuck was this?
so if possible, Echo like wants to like add a bit of like artifacts, so it's
Okay.
it's just been like beaming around for a
Sure.
while.
Okay, yeah.
I like that.
Does the equivalent of like dunking in tea and like burning the edges.
You just run an eraser over it to fray it a little bit. Yeah. Virtually, of course.
Of course. Wonderful.
Nice.
That's gonna be a 40.
Oh! Hot dog.
Hopefully Rose can beat a 40 to figure this fucking puzzle out.
What is that roll?
Sorry, your dice is little. A 4?
A 4.
Does that beat a 40?
Yes. Plus 36.
Is there read receipts as well? That's also...
There are. That's something that you need to enable in that. So when you enable a read receipt, what happens is you send a message. It sends a message back that is the read receipt, and then it sends another message to confirm to the first device. So you're technically tripling the sends. And
Yeah, no, Echo
Yeah.
for sure does not have those turned on.
So yeah, no worries. You don't even have like location turned on. You have everything turned on.
Echo tells no one.
Echo is the person that you're like, oh, the police are after us. Cool. Like breaks the phone in half, throws like pieces away. You're very in tune with like what you keep your wallet in the microwave.
Track no one. Echo's body is aluminum.
So no problem. You send this message, you embed this incredibly well, and you just send it off. And you feel confident that even though this is a sector where there are military ships monitoring for communications, and this was not picked up by anybody. It's so well hidden. Like Gibbs was joking, but it's like a really, really good. That was well
At the
done.
worst, maybe she just gets a fun laugh at it.
But like, I feel like she's gonna
30
be
years
confused
after the
enough. She's
campaign
gonna know
ends.
it's me,
Oh,
right?
this message. What?
Yeah, but if she knows it's you, she just knows that you sent her a stalemate.
But that says something.
This is also a Veskarium meme. She probably has no idea, like even less context for this. For Rose
It's gonna be
Lashman.
fine.
No worries. You send this message. You creep
To be
forward.
clear, the with love from Vesk 3 is in common.
Yes.
Yes.
Only Gibbs says I love you at the end of messages.
So you make your way forward towards Vesk 3 in the rough direction of the coordinates that you all got from Echo. And as you have the time tick by, slowly you begin to see that there are shapes far off in the distance. For those of you who use the director's sensors to like magnify, you can see far, far away the tiny dot of Vesk 3 and its moons that are orbiting it. And on the 4th hour, behind you a little ways, there is a blip in the drift, and the Solar Wind song emerges.
Yes.
Give me 1 second.
And then she gets fucking blown up because she got a message that pinpointed her location, and
She
there's
gets an
like
egg gift
16
and
I
they're
feel like
Vesk
the message
warships
just like
waiting
fucks with
for
her
it.
computer.
She's like, what virus is this?
You have a communication back. It is a picture of like a tiny little aphid, and you can see it's been like personified a little bit, so it has like big blushing cheeks and like a little thing, and you can see it has like probably close to like 12 legs, but 2 of them are clinging onto a leaf, and it's just barely hanging on there, and above it says hang in there. And it's just a classic meme, and it's not super well encrypted. She doesn't have an echo unit to help her with that, but she's answering your message.
Can you help me decrypt this? I think she's telling me I better believe it, but
I love that. Can this be a campaign from now
Oh my
on?
god, that's amazing.
Just be happy.
that's alright. Let's try to
I
keep it
just
together.
got this letter. Can you reseal it? Can you make it so that nobody has touched it yet?
I need this laugh.
Man,
Oh, that was great.
that got me.
Sorry.
No, love it.
Echo just like points out the words.
Oh! Yay!
But Echo, as you look at this, you are looking at it's not an unsecure communication. There was an attempt to encrypt it. It was not a proficient attempt. Rose is good at a lot of things. As a Goran who, a plant person who comes, and actually, looking at her ship, seeing it up close again for the first time in many months, there's a biological component to the ship itself. Excuse me. And so, oh man, that really got
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm losing it too.
Also, as an aside, Echo is a hacker. That's the whole point of Echo.
Yeah.
Maybe the best aren't good at hacking, you know? They get the Skittermators to do most of their tech shit.
But you get the sense that Rose is just a little bit behind you. Will probably arrive relatively soon. But the Vesk prison barge is pretty close. You're in a position now where you would need to like activate your thrusters and pull back to wait for Rose to catch up if you want to have them, really sync up. Otherwise, Rose will appear as you begin your assault, and it'll just be a little bit different. Are you waiting or are you engaging?
This is tricky because
Echo comes in to alert the crew that Rose is behind, and requests, Captain, your advice, please.
So it's 4 hours delay, or go in without Rose. So effectively, Rose is...
It's not a 4-hour delay. So she appears out of the drift closer to the planet proper than you. It just took her longer to get there. It would probably be... Ari rolled a d4, and so who knows how long it will be. But perhaps it has to do with that.
2 hours. But then it's 2 hours we're hiding in Vesk space.
ooh,
And there's no way for us to, unless we risk it again, to contact... Actually, no.
You're close enough with Team 1 that you can communicate tight
the
beam.
encrypted channel that Javier gave me.
Also correct.
So I guess I would comm to Javier and inform them of the potential delay and see what they are trying to do.
They will say, for all the time that we have been planning, Rose was a part of this plan. We should wait.
Then we'll wait.
You can see they nod, they terminate the communication.
Echo goes about shutting all the systems off basically and helping the ship go
They
down.
go, as Team 1, as the communication terminates, they go dark.
Yeah.
They shut off their shields. Everything turns off except for life support. They are running as minimally as they can for these 2 hours.
Echo gets close to Gibbs and gets down on their haunches essentially, and they're just no more communications.
Just pulls out all these old cell phones and turns them off, and finds a etch-a-sketch it and just shakes it.
Things. Yeah, no problem. You take out one can, a bunch of string, then another can, all the different ways that you could communicate.
Finds an eraser, just eats it. It's
yeah.
carrier pigeon slides
Director
at her.
power down on all non-vital power systems.
Just shuts you and Echo off.
I'm dead.
But no problem. It powers down everything. The lights drop down low. It is just a low blue across the entire ship.
unplug the food processor.
For no reason whatsoever, because unlike our current present, there's not phantom power drain. They don't do that because they're not tremendous dicks in the future.
What?
Well, it depends on the corporation.
What?
You are in a proprietary ship that I don't know if you put this together, but basically built itself.
I had to pay for oxygen, man.
Yeah, but on this ship, they're not trying to charge you an extra power bill.
Nice.
But you unplug it.
It's the Swedes.
The first hour goes by. Will somebody roll a D100, please?
Yes. No, you can. Yeah,
Why doesn't one of you roll a
It's gonna
10 and one
happen
of you rolls
twice.
a
So,
person
you
wanna
do
go
it
first or
person
second?
second.
You can go first. I will go second.
Was that a 36?
Maybe we won't go second.
36? Okay. So the first hour passes by. You can see the shape of the prison barge as it slowly is in an orbital path around Vesk 3. It's not going anywhere fast, and so you're really in no fear of losing it while you wait for Rose. And the hour goes by. Echo, can you roll a D100?
Can I use my binoculars? Do I see alarms
Make a perception
blaring?
check. It's to be clear, it's so far away that even with your binoculars, visually you can't see the
23.
craft. And with the 23, you look out and you...
Wait, 24, because it's +1
That's
for binoculars.
True. You're just kind of right up to the view screen, and you look, and there is just space everywhere. I mean, you're looking in space for a ship that is still, a little bit of a distance off.
It's really dark.
You don't see any alarms.
67.
Okay. With the 67, Echo, you feel pretty confident that over the next hour, there is nothing really going on. And that confidence tells you all at once that something is wrong.
We are fucked.
There is something that is almost too still about this craft. It's weird that it's just slowly making its way around. And why has it been orbiting here anyways? It seems like its momentum is not just slow, it's slowing.
Oh.
But no problem. 2 hours go by and you see the Solar Wind Song slowly pull up between you and Mosaic Team 1.
We should not have waited. We should go.
There is a blip a little bit off to your starboard side, and now forming a nice little triangle between you, the Vesk prison barge, and the planet proper, kind of forming like a fourth point. There is a new contact that emerges. You can see on your viewports a Vesk destroyer has appeared on the edge of your system.
Fuck.
They are currently actively scanning because they are almost certainly coming in search of something. All at once, you get the sense that
It was the text message.
yeah, it was definitely the text message.
I don't know. It's suspect.
It was actually, it was Rose's message
it was
back
Rose's
that
text
initiated this. And
she
then
doesn't-
it was Shade's D100 roll that confirmed it. So the destroyer emerges kind of near the edge, and it is currently progressing in such a path that it will pass directly between you and the prison barge. There's a good amount of space between. You could try to just wait and hope they don't see you, but they are actively scanning.
Mystic Haze. Spend a resolve point to do that.
It's visible.
So
It's
Mystic Haze is visible. And while it might help you blend into like an asteroid field, it would make you a little bit more visible.
right, because it's hiding in the dark's bad.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Sorry.
So but you would know that. You don't have
yeah.
to do that.
Sorry.
Just a quick question. In terms of timescale, if we decide just not to attack and just plan this mission like a month from now, or like not a month, but like a couple weeks.
Sure.
Okay, just putting that out there.
Yeah, you could do
We have
whatever
that
you
option.
want.
I don't want to.
I'm
I don't
sure
want
that would be
to.
great. I am sure the Vesk are not known for executions. That'd be crazy.
What are
Why
you
would we do
talking
that?
about, bro?
We're here. Let's go.
You get there, there's just a whole different set of prisoners. They're all wearing clothes made out of like your
Literally
friends.
everyone we want is on that ship.
We're just gonna let them hang out in prison for an extra couple of
I don't know.
weeks.
I don't know. I'm just trying.
I'm just gonna hold a piece of paper up to the window
don't know where they're going.
that says, "Rose, you ready?" XOXOXO
They're
Gibbs.
going to death.
Okay, you send that up.
No.
It's a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper.
They may
Echo sees you doing that and just like tackles you and says,
Read the fucking things.
"She will attempt to communicate back with you."
Oh, here. Don't communicate back with me. Write on paper if paper's not offensive.
That's illegible.
Okay. 2 pieces of paper. One says first message. Second one says don't text back. Use paper if you can.
So you write up. It says
Better?
don't text back. It says what was the first one?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? You look over and the canopy of Rose's craft is almost like the sleek gold. You can't like visualize Rose through the cockpit. You have no idea. But they don't message you back.
Great.
And so perhaps that means they saw it.
Rose is
Also could mean
ready.
that they didn't.
Look, she's so golden. Golden means go. Go.
So are you all waiting? Or are you going to...
Well, I think
Is the Star Walker within visual range?
Yeah, all 3 of your ships are basically right
have they
alongside
made
each
any
other.
moves? Because they're presumably aware now of this Vesk destroyer as well.
They are, but they're not making any moves. And again, they're waiting for you all to make the distraction, so you get the sense that they're going to go following you.
I mean, what's one more
I
ship
guess
to
now
it?
that we're here, the Vesk destroyer. Can we not a visual perspective, but just a like.
How far off is
I mean,
the
we
Vesk
have-
Destroyer?
what are-
So right now, it's a good
Distance-wise.
distance off. And when you think about distance in space, it's not super helpful to think about like feet or miles.
Right.
It's far enough off that it will take probably about like an hour to pass between both of you. So if you wanted to and again, every time that you maneuver,
Right.
you're, but you do have time to theoretically get away.
Echo basically holds up a pad and like starts a clock that says 60 minutes and just is like sports cheerleader like
but
going
wait, because
around
that
like
doesn't.
this.
We also need to know how far away from the barge we are.
Correct. So you're about I would say maybe an hour away from the barge as well.
So it's
So
going to
again,
be,
forming kind of
coming-
like a perfect triangle right now, but they're going to
Right.
go right between the two.
This is what I
points.
meant about like just waiting, like maybe like an hour just to avoid this guy, and then we do it. I'm not saying
If you wait it would be. They'll be on your scanners if they continue along their trajectory, don't deviate at all, for the next 2 hours, then they'll drop off on the other side. So you could absolutely wait. They're going to
They have
pass you
better
actively
scanners.
scanning.
Yeah, and they
That's
have
a military
way
ship.
better scanners than ours.
Then
They're
we have
going
They're
to
going to
find
find
us.
us.
I'm just
So
putting
we
the
have to.
options.
We have to move now. Also, now this is coming into play. I have my encrypted channel to the director,
Sure.
so I can autopilot the director remotely up to I think 5 miles now.
Sort of.
Or, like, I can, like-
autopilot is a good way of
Yeah, I can like
it's not like dynamic.
I can communicate with it.
Yes.
And like so basically we're gonna need to now have it pretty much drop us off and then get to cover or like some kind of safe zone.
Yeah.
And then wait for extraction.
That makes sense.
So I'm gonna like try to coordinate that with the director via that channel.
Okay.
So that like we can time it so that when we're ready for pickup, we don't have to wait like, oh no, we gotta hold off for like 5 minutes because the directors, unless obviously
Sure.
something
And
else
again,
happens.
as a reminder of the overall plan, when you destroy the escort craft, which are not currently flying around the ship, so you would imagine they launch in defense.
Right.
Yeah.
That is when it will, as an emergency, the VESC protocol is to jump to the drift.
Yeah.
And Mosaic Team 1, linked with you and linked with Rose Lashman, can follow. And once in the drift, you have several seconds in which you can board the craft before its weapons can become active.
Right.
And so that will happen when you're in the drift.
Gotcha.
Before you get there, you'll still be within the director, presumably.
Cool.
Okay. That sounds good.
Since Spice is not like Olive is not here.
Yeah.
Echo wants to try and communicate to the other two ships without using communications that we're gonna just go full speed ahead and attempt to like run this ship down and get it to go.
Okay.
Okay.
What is a good way to do that?
Which ship are you
Paper.
trying to run down?
The
barge.
barge.
Prison
Okay.
barge.
We basically Echo wants to like try and get there before the destroyer does to like make this thing jump.
Absolutely. So you can do that, and if you go straight right now, you will be able to engage before the destroyer can even close within weapons range.
Yeah.
That would give you a really good chance of avoiding the destroyer.
Echo's basically just like gun it now.
All right, full power, we're going.
Okay. Shade powers up the thrusters, and almost like a quarter second later, Mosaic Team 1 follows suit. Maybe 3 seconds later, not as synced up as the rest of you, Rose Lashwind also puts power into the Solar Wind Song, and you begin to make your way off and really quickly burn in the direction of the prison barge.
Echo's like in the chief mate position, just like burning.
Yeah.
Is our we're taking the shuttle to the correct?
So I think that would give me an effective 12 speed.
Yes.
Are we taking
Just for
The
So you're
shuttle's
taking
on
the
our ship.
director
Yeah.
because you have to,
Oh, you're
as the
taking the
director. Well, so right now in the director, you're going to engage with the bombers. You're going to destroy the
Yeah,
bombers, and you have to use the director
through drift
to jump
space.
into the drift. Once in the drift, you can board with the director, which, seeing as there's a very tight window, you may want to consider.
Yeah.
You could also just as you're jumping to the drift, run onto the shuttle. Maybe pre-stack your stuff there,
Yeah.
and then just go.
Okay.
It would be tough.
Okay.
That, yeah.
In that case, I would
That's why.
go to the
Echo
gallery.
Pre-stack
spent
stuff.
time
Yeah.
pre-stacking stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Echo definitely made that
in
easier.
in the shuttle.
Yes!
The shuttle is. The
While
shuttle
we
is
were
good to
doing
go.
bullshit.
Yeah, we
I
were
missed that
team
'cause I was
bonding.
The
writing
only
stuff
thing that
to
will
stops.
really make it difficult is if you, in the course of your combat, get yourself into a situation where, like, bubbles in the gunnery deck and that gets twisted and warped and damaged, like a critical damage. It would be pretty tough to get bubbles out and into the shuttle in that
that's a
12
good
second
point.
span. It would really put
Plus,
a tight
what
time.
happens to the shuttle if it's not within the warship or the barge? Or
No,
the
we all jump to the drift, and once we're out again, because it's going to be a 6-second out, then we would board with the shuttle.
Gotcha.
But also, I think shuttle's plan A, and I think director's plan B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
my plan was to have the director basically like fuck
Yeah, I
off.
remember you-
as-
So
You said last
we
week.
still have that plan. Plan A is still a go.
Cool.
Good.
Just faster.
Yeah, just with haste now.
I'll still be in the gunnery just in case, but ready to go.
Well, we gotta gun these other shippies down.
So you begin to burn quickly in this direction. It's not too long, only about 5 minutes go by, and you see the Vesk prison barge begin to slowly turn and face in your direction. And you get these bleeps as it begins to throw scans across you. And all at once, 4 more signals appear, kind of emerging from this larger one, as 4 of these Vesk bombers begin to take off in your direction. As you, the Solar Wind Song, and the Starwalker all begin to approach, because we are at a place where we would be starting a pretty large combat, we're going to stop for this evening.
Okay.
And we'll come back next week with the engagement of the Vesk barge. You guys have a pretty good window before the destroyer gets here. It will take it almost an hour to get here. And so provided you don't get like destroyed and kind of set lifeless in space, you should be avoiding that craft. But it is definitely a timer that you set for yourself. And it's like,
Rose said it because yeah.
You rolled it!
I mean, I wouldn't have had to
it's a
roll
large
it.
destroyer. And the bloody taste of victory is
To be fair,
is a craft.
we didn't know if Rose was gonna make it at the moment, so
No, also true. I think, and that was why I did it, was to
Yeah.
put you in that position. But
we could have just not got nothing from Rose.
we will
Anyway.
be back next week. If you can't wait that long, you could join us tomorrow night when we play D&D, our original game, Courts of Everest, where we were picking up, I gotta double check and see, where we were picking up after a slightly misguided attempt at breaking into the guild.
We're gonna hit a grandma!
Yeah.
Oh.
You guys are in Shai Bulin's stash of whimsy and woe. And so you can join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here, but please stay safe. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.